Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Hope you're well on this Lawn Maintenance Tuesday. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, don't miss anything, but if you do, remember that all 3 hours get posted every day upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. So it's easy. Go back, get caught up at your leisure. You can also use the mobile app. That's right. The WTSM app is free for both iPhone and Android, so you're good there. Also, it's a place where you can locate the archived audio right there on the app. Email the show if you want. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Appreciate the emails. We do. I know I don't get back to you personally. The show, luckily, long ago got big enough where that became very difficult to do. But I do appreciate them, and we do have people read them, and a lot of times they get forwarded to me, and the fodder is good for the show. So keep them coming. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. And I should note that on YouTube, if you want to watch us performing our duties, you can. Just go to YouTube, type in ESPN Tallahassee. By the way, while you're on Twitter following at 979 ESPN Radio, you can watch us once again with the Periscope. So, good Lord, man. How many more ways beyond just listening to the good old radio do you want to be able to listen to this show?
17, sir.
We've got them. They're all in a line and neatly expressed at the beginning of each and every one of these programs that I do, huh? We've got to do it with a good rhythm. Much better rhythm to start the show today, Tom. I feel much more like the game is coming to me. I feel real good at the outset here. If I get a good look early, I'm shooting. Because yesterday, everything was disjointed. I missed on the, on the rejoin or the first join. The opening, as some call it, I went ahead and just missed.
Was it the Sunday Sirius XM thing that just had you thrown off? Because that's usually a day of preparation and rest.
You know, speaking of which, Tom, I did a show on Sunday on Sirius XM on ESPNU Radio. I did that with Andy Staples from 9 to noon, and it was a Sunday preview. You can find it on the Sirius XM app. You can actually
later,
on demand.
not now.
Not now. You know, you can do that, but no, not now. You can just
There's
go
no
find
cannibalization of the WTSM app.
No, that's not what we do. I can be many places at once, but you need to be here while I'm here. That's the way that has to be, right? So you can always go back and find those other times that I was doing other things. Like tomorrow night, I'll be doing a show on golf on the PGA Tour Network. It's a lot of places, Tom, a lot of places. But we need you here on the Jeff Cameron Show because this is the crux of what we do. This is the bread and butter right here. This is the show 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, that you can count on. That other stuff, kind of, you never really know. But this one here, boom, locked in, ready to roll. You're in good position every day.
You lock it up.
That's right. You do. You lock it up. Man, I woke up downright giddy. Or actually later in the day, I got happier as I found out that Tampa Bay told Doug Martin to have a good day. Woo-hoo! Nicely done, Tampa Bay. That was an easy decision to make, but the Bucs don't always make good decisions, even when the answer is right there before them. And so it is that you free up cap money, $6,750,000 to be exact. I like that kind of saving. And then from there, perhaps you go on to make some good decisions here in free agency. You now have the third most amount of money to spend as any team in the NFL. But the problem is, Tom, as you correctly pointed out while we were talking earlier, got some big contracts on the horizon for guys that you can't afford not to sign.
Well, if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be what Jimmy Garoppolo costs these days, what's Jameis Winston going to be? You know, because you at least have,
you have
a little bit of youth on his side and
seasons of evidence as opposed to 11 games.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, you got to lock him up. Could you go to the negotiating table right now? Get that done a little early? Maybe save a little money? Maybe approach him and say, after this last season, Tom, I know this is hardcore business we're talking now. I could say, even though I know deep in my heart it was not his fault, shoulder injury and all, sib for an offensive line, but his value isn't as high as it was after the 9-7 season.
Yeah, since you're the intrepid Jameis Winston insider, even down in Tampa, people turn to you for their answers.
That's true.
For Jameis Winston, where his camp is. Perhaps that's a question that you might be able to get the answer to. What is that process like? Is Jameis Camp saying, no, we'll wait, no problem.
We'll
guess. Let the next free agent contract be signed between now and the time that Jameis has to negotiate his deal?
Well, I would think that any reasonable approach to that negotiation would take that stance, given that no matter what you think of his long-term viability in Tampa Bay or the NFL for that matter, no matter what camp you're in, whether you are ultra pro Jameis and think the evidence is overwhelming that he's going to be a star for many years to come, or if you think he's too turnover prone and you worry that that will be the bugaboo that plagues him throughout his career and thus he'll be a middling quarterback in the NFL. You certainly can't think he's going to be bad because he hasn't been bad in any of the years that he's played. But wherever you sit, here's what we do know. There are numbers, and those numbers that agents like to use and point to that are in favor of Jameis Winston historically, and they will be brought to the table as he sits in the record books and quite a few important categories when judging quarterbacks for a kid his age.
Yes.
That will be utilized by an agent, I would guess. I would think they'll hold off and go, no, we like our hand here. We like our cards. Yeah,
Dirk,
we're going to stay in the hand here.
Dirk, I know that there's been some trying times these last couple of years. This is assuming Dirk is still there, by the way.
I was going to say that's a big assumption.
Throw that out there.
Yeah.
How do you like the idea of Jameis not being on the roster? Yeah. Let's just cut to the chase. Rather than all this dancing around and he's cleared to play and all that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your chances of getting another contract if he's not here?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a better way of approaching that. That's
Perhaps you want to advocate for his re-signing at a number that's reasonable to Jameis. You might want to go talk to Jason separate our conversations, and perhaps the Glazers too while you're at it.
Well, advocating for Jameis from the head coach, as it stands now, Dirk Cutter, that would be a first for him, and a stance that I think would behoove him.
Oh, sure.
Given the missteps of a year ago.
Listen, Dirk, you're a percentages guy, right? Where are the percentages?
You want to start over,
yeah.
Dirk? You want to start over? Because guess what? I'm guessing the ability to attract the next great free agent quarterback, whomever you deem that to be, isn't good in Tampa. So it's rebuilding through the draft if you're not trusting that guy who's already set some NFL records. You don't want to do that.
Unfortunately, Mariota might get locked up before that, Dirk, if you were trying to get him and bring him down to Tampa,
Louisville, in part of the NCAA stupidity, is having their 2013 national championship yanked from their grips, if you will. We saw the tournament. It was played. Teams competed, won, lost. Ultimately, the last one standing was Louisville. You can strip them of the title, I guess, in the record books, but in fact, they won the NCAA championship in 2013. Rick ain't giving the ring back, I promise you that. None of the kids will either. And the teams that lost to the Louisville Cardinal along the way certainly remember that too.
Oh, you can't take the banner out of my bathroom. There's no way the banner is leaving my bathroom. You can't do it.
Well,
was the NCAA going to knock on my door and say, hey, that banner's ours. You can't have it.
At the end of the day,
cover it up.
It's the sad thing. We have to agree with him. He's right if he says that. No matter the scumbag level, you have him etched in on the totem pole there, wherever you place him amongst the great scumbags that have coached in college basketball, of which, they are bountiful. He's right about the championship. It ain't going nowhere.
Nobody chooses to live in the public eye, but I choose to help kids. And perhaps if you were given an opportunity like I was, you would help kids too.
And to vacate, by the way, 123 wins is also stupid. I just think that the NCAA, when going about the process, when you're vacating national championships or bowl games or regular season wins, there's just a better way to go about this, which is taking scholarships, suspending postseason play, all that sort of thing. It really hits them where it hurts. Now, if you're a kid that's already there and had nothing to do with it, it adversely affects you in a way that seems unfair, but there doesn't appear to be too many other ways to inflict some sort of serious punishment long-term that hinders the program from having any form of success moving forward for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, the only thing I could say is that you penalize them a percentage of the TV rights fees. They get a payout from the ACC. It says it's X amount of dollars. Well, it's 10% fewer dollars. That's the penalty. Sorry,
you have to penalize
we're going to tie it to your money. It's tied to the money.
Always has to be tied to the money.
The scholarships thing, all that does is
Well, it guarantees you losses.
Right.
For years to come.
But I'm talking about like the bottom line. You'll rebuild. USC is not dead in the water because of scholarship losses. It hurt them for a period of time.
A good long period of time.
But
and I would say that ultimately is what you're trying to do. You don't want to sentence a university or a program to the death penalty. They learn their lesson from that. So I'm okay with saying that, yeah, it's impermanent, but I don't want a permanent solution there. I want a 7 years, this is going to suck, you have no chance to be any good sentence.
Right. To me, it's just I don't like the idea that there are fewer scholarships out there for players. There's fewer for the pool of players. Because what the hell is,
well, right, but they'll find their way to other people. I mean, those kids will go somewhere else.
They're good enough to, if they're going to Louisville or USC,
right,
they're going to be a good schools.
Somewhere,
but I'd rather just hit them with a wallet. Just do that. Make it simple.
The problem is there are some programs that then would say, which we see sometimes happen, is the price worth paying because we have unlimited funds? Texas A&M is a good example where the oil rights are what they are. There's no amount of money, clearly, that affects them. So what would you do if they win? If they decide we're all in to cheat and we're going to win a national championship and we're going to get after it, what would you fine them? $100 million, $200 million? Wouldn't even be a dent.
Okay. Well, what if you did something along the lines of the fine gets redistributed to the other schools in the conference? Then now you're lending it towards policing yourselves. Well, now everybody's policing themselves.
Then you're lending it to the other Big 12 partners to burning down your establishment when they all get penalized. Whoosh.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of putting the soap in the pillow bag and beating the bejesus out of member Texas A&M as they sleep.
Oh, it's the Code Red.
It's the Code Red.
They're
indeed.
PFC Williams Santiago.
That's a tough time, man. Yeah, that's I don't know what you do, but you would have to, I think, choose to do something beyond vacation of wins and losses because we know what happened. The games were played, those championships, they were won. It is what it is.
They should just move the banner to Billy Minardi Hall.
What you would do, though, in the effort, that's funny, what you would do is look back now on Rick Pitino's career, and you would look at the myriad of transgressions under his watch at each place.
Successes. Transgressions. What is this?
Yeah. Transgressions, successes, one and the same for Rick Pitino at almost every stop because he was very successful. Usually there was a price for that, and it involved dignity and many other things, including NCAA violations. But you'll hear people, and I understand if you're an alumnus or a fan of the institution penalized by the NCAA, that you have a history that you can reference that suggests the NCAA is far less than perfect, and you almost feel a certain indignant approach towards their doling out punishment because of the missteps that they've made in the past. And so you'll hear that today. But if you just hyper-focus on Rick Pitino and the man that Rick Pitino has been in the public eye, listen, I get it. I mean, to varying degrees, whether it's political, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's in coaching, professional sports in general, music, entertainment of some form, you name it, the act of engaging in heroification has occurred, and then eventually people get torn down when they're revealed to be human, and not much can be done about that because it was wrong to begin with to have them at a certain plane. But this guy's special in that regard. I mean,
I'm a victim. I just wanted to help advance young men into becoming men.
He's not Dave Bliss, but my goodness gracious. Florida State plays baseball today. Talk about it momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Looking for new furniture or mattresses? Call Tallahassee Furniture Direct today at 545-7112. Brand new furniture and mattresses at ridiculously low prices. Mattress sets less than $200. Bedroom sets less than $400. Living room sets less than $600. And complete apartment packages 50% below retail. Tallahassee Furniture Direct, 545-7112. Quality furniture, low prices. Delivery is available. Tallahassee Furniture Direct, 545-7112.
At Advance Auto Parts, we offer you the quality parts you want and knowledge you need. And we're always looking for ways to help you save. Right now at Advance, premium oil brands like Castrol, Mobil, Valvoline, and Pennzoil are all on sale. Choose 5 quarts and an oil filter starting as low as $23.99 for your oil change. Only at Advance or participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores. Advance Auto Parts, where oil is priced like it should be. See store for details. Limit 5 oil change specials per customer. Valvoline bottles may vary by store.
To grow my business, I've got a plan. Step 1, be smarter about how I spend my money. Step 2, go to my local Staples. Why? See Step 1.
Staples has lots of smart ways to save your business money. Now an HP laptop with an Intel Core i3 processor is just $389.99. That's $140 off.
Another smart move? Get there early. You don't want to miss out.
Staples. Shopping smart equals saving big. While supplies last. Valid on SKU 2721077. Ends 2/24/18.
I was driving in my car and I smelled a number 5 with fries. Hadn't stopped for lunch, made me realize it was just my ride. Oh no. But with the new Febreze car, I got it under control. Now they come in light or bold, choose how you roll. Febreze car, roll with me and breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
I'm Fred Conrad, and I'm a criminal defense lawyer. I believe your freedom is too important to trust to an inexperienced lawyer. For over 20 years, I've successfully defended those accused of DUI, drug offenses, and a host of other misdemeanor and felony offenses. My office is located in my hometown, and as a third-generation Tallahassee native, former local prosecutor and law enforcement instructor, I have the skills and experience necessary to handle your case. When you call my office, you will talk to me, and I'll personally handle your case. So don't blow it. Call me at 222-4005 or go to fredconrad.com.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Oh, what a great audience. Let's dim the lights for this next one. Nope, too much. There it is. Gotta get things just right. Like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay, and we help you find coverage options that fit your budget. And now, the mood is right. Wait, the lights are back on again. Trudy, can you? And now it's completely dark.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Dick Howser Stadium. Why, of course. Mike Martin Field, Florida State. Taking on USF. Game starts at 4 o'clock. Who you rooting for, Tom?
The university with the letters F, S, and U in that order.
That order, damn it. Yeah, so it's difficult for us baseball-loving selves here to do a show on a day when Dick Howser Stadium, Mike Martin Field says, "Come hither. It's nice out, slight breeze. Enjoy the weather. Get caught up with your friends and family and enjoy a little baseball. Why don't you?" Cannot do it today, but you can if you're driving about. And perhaps listen to this show while you do it. Maybe even update us from time to time about what's happening at the old ballpark. After that, we get a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series for those of you who are stuck at work like most normal people at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. So it is that on Friday you get out maybe a little early, and you'll catch Florida State take on Troy. That's the weekend series that comes next.
You say it could potentially be update time thanks to our listeners. Is that right?
Update time for that ass. It's update time for that ass. Yeah, baby. We'll do it today. Yeah, that's always good. That's always fun. And you nailed the music back when we did that.
CeeLo.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it again. It's update time for that ass. On this particular day, I was in a good mood and ready to sing that particular line, and you happened to hit record at just the right time. It's update time for that ass. Never gets old, just doesn't. Florida State, NC State Sunday. Nice week to rest up for Florida State basketball. They could use it. Noles, of course, in a nice position where if they are to get another win, they will be dancing, or so it would seem. Pointed out to me by Dave during the last commercial break that while it is that Rick Pitino rightfully is scorned as a scumbag, he points out Calipari hasn't beat. He's had 2 Final Four appearances vacated, UMass in 96, Memphis in 2008. And his current program could very well be caught up in the FBI dragnet as we speak. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I think for the longest time, I just assumed big-time college basketball was the worst of the bunch just because at one point I talked to a college basketball coach at length about the very subject of corruption and money exchanging hands for runners and AAU and the whole thing. And they stated unequivocally that, man, it's been a nasty endeavor for a very long time and largely ignored by the NCAA to varying degrees. This FBI thing could get very, very interesting before it's all said and done. It already is.
Oh, this has been an open secret for decades, right? I mean, that's the thing. We talk about it with college football because it matters more to the market here, but every time we do, it feels like there's an aside for about 15 seconds.
Yeah, like, oh, by the way, it's way worse over here in basketball.
Right,
yeah,
that's the funny thing here is like basketball. I mean, you'd feel like a junior day at Florida State is,
right.
It gives you the willies. Well, you don't even want to know what happens with basketball. And then we move on to the football discussion, but that has always been kind of an open secret.
Well, I think the deal is, and it may be true across the board in any big time sport where the money matters, because when you look at athletic departments, they largely lose money. Okay, so you find very few schools that actually make money from college athletics, very few. And if you're amongst them, it's because of your football program. Next would be basketball. And then, of course, baseball is one that we care about around here, but it's largely people are indifferent about college baseball throughout the country. So it's a two-sport endeavor to make money. And the idea being that you want to be the kind of juggernaut that never has to engage in that. When you've built up a level of cachet and success that kids then desire to be there to such a level that they cannot be swayed by a middling Power 5 program who might be willing to dangle a few ducats, if you will, your way to persuade you not to go to an Alabama, a Florida State, a Southern Cal, or whatever it might be. I'm just using random schools. That if Duke is so successful in basketball, the thought is that Coach K, who's never really been in trouble at all, maybe annoying as he is, doesn't have to do it. But to get to that point, you have to engage in it and hope you come out unscathed.
Sure, and that's potentially true, but
but
maybe
we don't know.
Maybe
we have
it
no
isn't.
idea. Well, Louisville, you would have thought would have been a program like that. Kentucky would be a program you would have thought would be like that.
And the thing that has me a little leery here about Duke and its chances of coming out of this thing unscathed is they've engaged in the one and done thing that Calipari was doing. They've changed their strategy completely.
They've had no choice. Yes,
right, and they've done it so well and so successfully in such a short amount of time that cachet has something to do with it. But
well, surely it does.
I'm sure some other factors are involved as well.
All you got to do is look at another team within the conference. We found out, and it goes back long before Roy, North Carolina across the board was cheating their ass off. And, this was a university problem, obviously. But, goodness gracious, that's 20-plus years worth of it.
Well, I know it's a hot-button topic, too, because it's sensitive to the local area. But, when I see that the Yahoo Sports report over the weekend says that no stone is left unturned and there's one source to Yahoo Sports story about this. They're not doing the investigating. This is an FBI investigation. It's not like Yahoo Sports itself is knocking on the door.
Yeah, the famed.
But they are reporting on, and they do have some high-level sources who are privy to the information that will be released at some point here by the government. And the joke was, well, Tennessee Chattanooga is going to be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament if you actually vacated, appearances, and you were told, or you told universities that you can't go. There are that many universities involved in this thing. So I get worried about here, because, think about it. We've had top 20 recruiting classes the last 2 or 3 seasons. We're getting some one-and-done type players. If it's going to be so widespread in a sport that is, by and large, considered to be so much worse than football, I get a little worried about here. Hopefully everything's on the up and up. I hope so. But it's a big investigation, and apparently legendary coaches are not immune. That's what this Yahoo Sports report says. So, damn.
What I worry about, and listen, I would never insinuate that Ham is doing something that's not on the up and up.
Nor I, but it's a natural place to go and worry about.
Sure. Anytime you are able to get a big-time recruit, everybody immediately assumes, well, that's curious, especially at a place, by the way, like Florida State. If you're able to get a one-and-done guy at a place where traditionally that hasn't happened, in a conference that is notorious for elite-level basketball, that raises an eyebrow. There are many other factors in play there. But I don't know one way or the other if he has or hasn't. My guess is I'm going to assume just the way that he is in such a staunch advocate for rules and the way that he gets kids to graduate and go to class and do all those other things, that he's up and up across the board. All the reports I get from people who work at the university is that he's the best. But we've learned long ago that, you should probably look at this with a bit of cynicism across any level of sport, big-time college athletics.
I believe my football program, my basketball program don't do everything on the up and up when it comes to recruiting. They never have. Jimbo, Leonard, whatever, Willie. You got to get things done, and you have to work around the rules, and things get fuzzy sometimes.
Well,
that's the way that this game is operated, and if Pitino's doing it and Roy Williams is creating academic classes.
He didn't create that, but yes.
Well, okay.
But Carolina did, yes.
Yes, if Carolina, wink, wink, nod, nod, is funneling kids to a class that doesn't exist, a section of a course that doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah, you don't think that the head coach might not be aware of something like that?
No, I think he probably grew to be aware of it and didn't do anything about it, which is, yes, a problem. But I'm just saying he didn't create it.
But if Cal is at the pinnacle of the sport and Pitino is right there with him and Roy Williams is capable of it, and now, Coach K has one and done after one and done, and he's outdoing Cal at his own game in recent years, who's clean? I think it would be easier to say that. Who is clean? I'm not trying to excuse behavior. I'm just saying my eyes are open to it. I assume that there's all kinds of corner cutting going on.
Completely agree with that. I think what's funny when you talk to fans is that they like to believe that the kind of rules their school are breaking are the silly rules, the rules that shouldn't be on the books to begin with, that the NCAA's rule book is so thick and so large and expansive anyhow that it's almost like it doesn't deserve us to adhere to those rules. It's just so dumb, and it doesn't help the kids and everything else. And by and large, there is a segment of that rule book that absolutely seems absurd. They never want to believe that their program or coaches or famous alum and boosters with money are engaging in the kind of universally scorned rule breaking, which is to say actively paying players, buying cars, building houses for somebody, giving jobs, those kinds of things. But as far as being a realist, being pragmatic about it, go all the way back to when I was doing the morning show, a running bit was drugs, money, hoes. And it was because the idea was, here's the deal, man. I'm making fun of the fact that this thing is so twisted, so corrupt, so messed up that you can no longer deny what is necessary to compete. And I like my teams when they compete at a high level. So whatever you got to do.
Well, that's just the reality of the game. I'm not saying that there are hookers in dorm rooms here in Tallahassee the way that Patino had it rolling at Billy Minority Hall.
So different sort of deal.
Let's just not get it twisted. I'm not trying to attach that to a coach's name here at Florida State. But if you think that things operate here, purely compared to the rest of the world of college football and the way the game is set up to be played, and we finish in the top whatever percent recruiting class-wise, it's not just because of the Chief Osceola logo, man, and the tradition. You have to be able to operate in a world where the game is set up specifically for, sometimes people have hands out.
I believe it's 100% on the up and up, Tom Lang. It's obvious. We do it right. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not.
This.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
We don't need to see your W-2. And absolutely the best of all, we will not sell you an overpriced used car. And that is exactly why at Kraft Nissan, we call it the New For You program. We will plug your information into our system, which approves 4 out of 5 people with damage credit. And at the end of the day, you will drive away in a brand new Nissan, with or without a tax refund. You know the deal. Recently divorced? No problem. Recent bankruptcy? No problem. Credit score under 600? No problem. And it's not tied to taxes. Come see how easy it is for you to drive away in a new Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag in your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Sports are defined by stats and performance, but here's a performance stat that no one wants to talk about. Erectile dysfunction affects half of all men over 40. That's 50%. If you're struggling with ED and other therapies haven't worked, isn't it time to feel like yourself again? Learn about a long-lasting ED solution from Coloplast to get you back in the game. Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4-DRDELAY. That's 833, the number 4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833, the number 4, Dr. DeLay.
Did you know that one major advantage of propane cooking is that it offers more precise temperature control than electric? That means perfectly cooked meals every time. Propane also heats your home faster and maintains the warmth longer than electric or fuel oil, allowing you to potentially reduce your energy bill. If you'd like to know more, contact AmeriGas Propane. propane right here in Tallahassee at 877-1122.
I'm talking tough. Like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
You're up before dark 30. You don't ask for medals or even a pat on the back. But if all your hard work is indeed its own reward, then consider the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition as a bonus. Natura Plus leather seating, premium projector headlamps, suede headliner, packaged in the highly capable, hard-working truck you'd expect from Ram. Keep doing what you do, but who says you can't do it in a nicer truck? The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Woohoo! Banditos!
Huh? Where?
Banditos Burritos, baby.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The NCAA has denied Louisville's appeal of penalties handed down in a sex scandal involving the men's basketball team, therefore upholding that the Cardinals must vacate their 2013 national championship and the 2012 Final Four appearance. ESPN's Jay Williams not surprised the appeal was denied, but he does take issue with the criteria of standards the NCAA has, and the governing body needs to make up its mind.
What is it going to be? And that's the appalling thing for me when it concerns the NCAA. North Carolina had their set of issues with as that regards to academic and their institution issues with the paper courses. You had Penn State and their sexual abuse things that their wins got vacated. 3 years after that, their wins got reinstated. So what is it going to be?
Jay Williams, Louisville still has to deal with the federal corruption scandal. NFL Buccaneers released running back Doug Martin. His $6.75 million cap hit for 2018 would have been the fourth highest among all running backs. NBA, the Hornets targeting ex-Lakers GM Mitch Kupchak for a high-ranking role in Charlotte, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So 97.9 ESPN Radio. Did not like the report I read from Ira Schafel today regarding Tyler Holton. Never good to hear of a pitcher, A, who needs an MRI after one start, which we knew about after that first game, but B, quote-unquote, you hear, didn't look great. Damn it, man, with baseball more than most. You feel like, and nobody knows this more than you do recently with your favorite major league team, but the whole game is frontline pitching. The whole thing revolves around, do you have the horses on the hill? Everything else works itself out, unless you're miserably bad defensively and can't pick it up, unless you're miserably bad offensively and can't get on base. You could be middling in those two categories. If you can pitch, you win. And when you got a guy who you think is on the brink of a huge season, you almost invariably, I think it's true of all of us, just hold your breath with every pitch. And I know statistically that it's not any different, I don't think, than it was, say, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but it feels that way. It feels like whether it's your major league team, in this case our college team, that if you got a guy that you know, now listen, Tyler Holton, he's not throwing 100 miles per hour, but he was going to have, and I think we all agree on this, a big year, and he's really good. In the college game, he's really good, and I was excited and am excited, and I'm knocking on wood as we speak, to see him develop and watch him pitch this year. Hell, I was excited to watch the way he pitched in Game 1. But the second you heard about the MRI, I didn't, even the quote about, well, he had soreness like this when he was in high school. my mind anymore with a pitcher, when I hear MRI on the arm, stiffness, soreness, tightness, discomfort, I go, well, he's done. He's done. I never anymore do you hear, had some shoulder inflammation there and it bothered him a little bit afterwards. We're going to take a closer look. You never go, well, he'll be fine. You always go, and I'm not a pessimist by nature, not when it comes to my teams or certain topics. I'm not, but I assumed immediately, well, we're screwed.
I can tell you, given what I've gone through at the major league level in my fandom, I am a pessimist, and it's been beaten into me.
Well, in baseball with pitchers, without question.
For example, there's one pitcher that's in camp right now for the Mets who's going to take injections to try and avoid the tear.
Forget it. Shut it down.
Yes, right.
Shut it down.
He's not available for this year.
It's over.
Zach Wheeler is his name,
and he's got no chance.
I don't believe him to be available beyond maybe April.
By the way, and that's not crazy. You're right, statistically and otherwise. You've watched when you hear this. When you hear a guy early in camp and they go, discomfort, tightness, going to miss a start.
Well, how about partial tear UCL, and he's going to take PRP shots to get through it?
Call it a day, boys.
Mm-hmm. He has control issues as it is. Yeah, okay, let's see how this does for his mental game. But I'm excited, or was excited, hopefully it's not a was, about Holton because he's also a two-way player.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing first base for you.
Which he may still be able to do. That's the thing. If you have an injury to your arm,
Yeah, but how do they treat surgery for the betterment of his next step? Like, what do you do there?
Tom, I ignore his future and play him at first base and hope that he can hit. But
if you're trying for a 3-6-3 double play, can he make the throw to second? I mean, how does this work? I don't know how that works.
I know. It's well, what would happen is Andrew Karp, who's pitching today, would move into that rotation, and we had the lengthy discussion with Mike Martin Jr. about the rotation, and he certainly sounded like a guy who was very excited about Andrew Karp's potential this season and the steps that he had taken to become better, and he was already good. So you feel like, okay, well, you'll still have a starting rotation that is formidable, but it's obviously not nearly as good if Tyler Holton is gone for the year. And we don't know that. I'm not saying he is. I'm kind of making fun of my mindset while also saying, hey, I am pragmatic. I am a realist. When I hear about a pitcher with arm trouble and a quote-unquote doesn't look great conversation has taken place and that he is going to get a second opinion from Dr. Andrews.
Dr. James Andrews?
Yes, it's over, man. That's the way I look at it. I hear Dr. James Andrews and I go, well, we're done here.
So, worst case, we're going to do PRP shots. Best case. That's what I'm speculating now. Because I've been through this song and dance.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it for a college kid. You just tell him to shut it down and have the surgery.
Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't. If he's going to end up needing surgery down the line, just get it done. It's a lost season. Makes you just want to throw things.
Can he hit?
Yeah, he can hit. I mean, you mean if he's
if he gets the surgery? Well, what do you have to do? Do you have to shut it down? Can he get a hit? I mean,
I don't know. We're going to have to find out. Phone calls will be placed up.
Because you get to the major league level, they don't care. It's like, oh, he's got a great bat off the bench. He's your starter.
Yeah.
I don't care that he was once an athlete. I don't care that he hits 200 as a pitcher. He's not hitting. We're not putting him out in the field, man.
But he can hit. I mean, he can really hit. I think he would have had a big year at the plate, too. There's a lot to discuss regarding his potential as a pro and what position. So at that point, you would have to unpack that and begin to have that conversation. But I hold my breath, and most importantly for him, obviously, you never want anybody to get hurt, and they never want to get hurt. But it's one thing to play a season or to be, you 8-9 starts in, having helped your team move into first place in the conference or whatever it might be, and you get something out of a given year. First start, day one, done for the year, just feels more devastating.
I don't ever want to hear the words James and Andrews in a sentence in baseball.
No.
Ever. Oh.
No, it's gotten to where I don't want to hear James and Andrews ever just in any sentence. Immediately I cringe and go, oh, who's hurt?
No, it's the corner of James and Andrews, Jeff.
Like,
that's where we're meeting.
That's where a lot of people get T-boned. Yeah, I mean, I would immediately assume the worst, right? I just think that's – but they had said initially, remember, after Sunday's win, Mike Martin was asked, and he said, well, we should find out something about it tomorrow, and he meant Monday. And then they were going to be able to say one way or the other whether or not Carp would move into the rotation and then Parrish would pitch or be moved up or something along those lines. But, again, it looks now like this second opinion is what we're waiting on, but that never –
I wonder if that means they're going to shorten Carp's outing today, pending a move this weekend. Not that a Tuesday with USF matters in the grand discussion about Tyler Holton's health, but now I'm just into logistics mode. What do we do next?
Well, I'll tell you one thing you do, or I do, and that I get excited about, and this is what makes midweek games the most interesting, is if I've got a kid who I think is going to be a guy that I can work into some starts this year, even a freshman, somebody I think who portends of long-term being a rotational guy, a starting pitcher for us at some point, then I roll him out there. I mean, it's the fourth game of the year. It does not matter in the big scheme of things. And if I loved him in camp and he was a starting pitcher in high school, and I think he's going to be a starting pitcher in college, I'll tell him, hey, man, you're starting. I mean, what can it hurt? Now, you would argue, well,
we've had this philosophical debate for some time now.
We have, but I mean, I think you roll him out there. You don't let him get pounded. If the moment's too big.
No, sir.
No, if the moment's too big and the weight of Hauser and the expectation, although a Tuesday at 4 p.m., it's not going to get, any easier. I mean, that's the easiest possible first start in your college career you could have. Midweek game, people are at work. It's go out there, let's see what you got. Pitch easy, man. I don't have high expectations today. Go show me what you got. And if you're struggling, I'll get you out of there.
Well, that kid, whoever it is probably coming out of the pen today because of short notice, but okay.
You could have fun with it, though. You could. Yeah, it is a bit of a gut.
Gearing up on the Friday thing, it's Holton Friday.
Frustrating. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Doing it. Let my team of professionals go to bat for your business. Call me today, Alan Willis at 561-8400, and get your business off the bench and into the game today with WTSM 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Advance Auto Parts, we offer you the quality parts you want and knowledge you need, and we're always looking for ways to help you save. Right now at Advance, premium oil brands like Castrol, Mobil, Valvoline, and Pennzoil are all on sale. Choose 5 quarts and an oil filter starting as low as $23.99 for your oil change. Only at Advance or participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores. Advance Auto Parts, where oil is priced like it should be. See store for details. Limit 5 oil change specials per customer. Valvoline bottles may vary by store.
Looking for new furniture or mattresses? Call Tallahassee Furniture Direct today at 545-7112. Brand new furniture and mattresses at ridiculously low prices. Mattress sets less than $200. Bedroom sets less than $400. Living room sets less than $600. And complete apartment packages 50% below retail. Tallahassee Furniture Direct, 545-7112. Quality furniture, low prices. Delivery is available. Tallahassee Furniture Direct, 545-7112.
I was driving in my car and I smelled a number 5 with fries. Hadn't stopped for lunch, made me realize it was just my ride. Oh no. But with the new Febreze car, I got it under control. Now they come in light or bold, choose how you roll. Febreze car, roll with me and breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
To grow my business, I've got a plan. Step 1, be smarter about how I spend my money. Step 2, go to my local Staples. Why? See Step 1.
Staples has lots of smart ways to save your business money. Now an HP laptop with an Intel Core i3 processor is just $389.99. That's $140 off.
Another smart move? Get there early. You don't want to miss out.
Staples. Shopping smart equals saving big. While supplies last. Valid on SKU 2721077. Ends 2/24/18.
You're up before dark 30. You don't ask for medals or even a pat on the back. But if all your hard work is indeed its own reward, then consider the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition as a bonus. Natura Plus leather seating, premium projector headlamps, suede headliner, packaged in the highly capable, hard-working truck you'd expect from Ram. Keep doing what you do, but who says you can't do it in a nicer truck? The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Busy day in Tampa, busy day for NFL teams across the board as they begin to tell players that they do not desire to have back next year to have a good one. A fat-ass waste of money in Tampa Bay has been told to have a good day as Baker is no longer going to be part of the team, Tom Lang.
You don't say. Chris Baker?
Yeah, that's good news, right? This turned out to be a poor signing. Of course, he came over from Washington and didn't try very hard. Ate a lot, was a clown during the Hard Knocks series, and hated to practice, hated to try. Damn it, man. Well, beware free agents, right? I mean, that's the hard part.
Well, that's the thing. You know, when he was first signed, I saw a cautionary article about him saying that he's not a good culture person.
Yeah, I think Ira Kaufman wrote something, too, about how the knock on him in Washington was that he didn't care to be there.
And the hope is that you win enough that, you know, the front-running personality comes out and everything is A-okay. But when things go bad, this is a person who runs for cover. And you could argue, man, that as much of a gamer in some ways, in some warped ways, as Deshaun Jackson is, those two signings are just terrible. Terrible signings. Because they don't help you build towards something that you're trying to get to. Those are mercenary types that are going to put you over the top.
Well,
those aren't people that help you form a winning culture.
Well, that's correct. And you can do that primarily through the draft and the draft only. I mean, it is with a rare exception. And if you draft well and you cultivate what you're looking for and you have an unquestioned leader like we do with Jameis Winston and work ethic is not an issue, then you can cultivate what you're looking for there. The Deshaun thing made more sense in that you did need somebody to lift the lid. This was a team that couldn't get down the field, and you thought, you know, you got to take pressure because you didn't at the time have a tight end that could stretch the field down the seams. You didn't have a speed receiver on your roster, really. You had a bunch of possession guys and a big receiver that could go up and get it because of his physical tools and his ability to catch the ball at the highest point. But you didn't have a guy that could lift the lid, so you brought Deshaun in. That may still work out. I mean, he's not a route runner. He is a me-first guy. He doesn't fight for the football. But he does seem to care about winning, A, and B, trying to make it work with Jameis.
In his own weird way.
Right.
Yeah. Just looking at that core, all right, you got Mike Evans, who doesn't let the beast out very often. He's more of an anxious, sensitive type for his size.
Mm-hmm.
He still plays large. He plays to his size, and he's got great body control, but he's not your alpha type. He's more quiet and introverted. Deshaun is your stereotypical me-first prima donna receiver with all the ability in the world.
Speed, all the speed in the world.
Yeah. Speed for days. Xavier Rhodes, they had a clip of Xavier Rhodes when they had him mic'd up, and he goes, oh, my God, Deshaun is fast. He's
really
like,
fast. That's what he brings to the table, really fast.
It was between series. He goes, oh, my God, I've not seen anything quite like that.
Yeah, he's a fast dude.
Humphrey strikes me as your everyman who's a little bit fake and will say all the right things. I don't really know him all that well.
But Jameis loves him.
And then Godwin's a badass.
He's a certified badass. That was a good draft pick.
That was a really good pick.
Yeah, tough guy, and he will help you build what you're looking for, and Jameis likes him too, and that's that core group. Listen, I think you got some guys. You continue to have weapons there. You'll see. OJ will continue to take steps forward there at tight end too. They'll be all right there. I just hope they can make the Deshaun thing work. Anyhow, Swaggy Baker is done.
Stunned.
That freaking guy. But between that and the cut of Doug Martin, Buccaneers saving tons of money, maybe making room for the contracts for Mr. Evans, making room for the contract for one Jameis Winston. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
It's $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. He's gone! Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and pick up 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $28.95. Plus, get a $10 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate and earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Now I know my ABCs.
What happened to the rest of the letters, Chris?
That's my fee, Miss Janet.
What are you talking about? What fee?
Just like when you're charged a sign-up fee on a personal loan.
Sign-up fees on the alphabet don't make sense. Neither do fees on personal loans. Marcus by Goldman Sachs offers no-fee personal loans for home renovations, major purchases, or managing credit card debt. Don't get feed. Visit Marcus.com.
You're up before dark 30. You don't ask for medals or even a pat on the back. But if all your hard work is indeed its own reward, then consider the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition as a bonus. Natura Plus leather seating, premium projector headlamps, suede headliner, packaged in the highly capable, hard-working truck you'd expect from Ram. Keep doing what you do, but who says you can't do it in a nicer truck? The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The NCAA has denied Louisville's appeal of penalties handed down in a sex scandal involving the men's basketball team, therefore upholding that the Cardinals must vacate their 2013 national championship and the 2012 Final Four appearance. ESPN's Jay Williams not surprised the appeal was denied, but he does take issue with the criteria of standards the NCAA has, and the governing body needs to make up its mind.
What is it going to be? And that's the appalling thing for me when it concerns the NCAA. North Carolina had their set of issues with, as that regards to academic and their institution issues with the paper courses. You had Penn State and their sexual abuse things that their wins got vacated. 3 years after that, their wins got reinstated. So what is it going to be?
Jay Williams, Louisville still has to deal with the federal corruption scandal. NFL Buccaneers released running back Doug Martin. His $6.75 million cap hit for 2018 would have been the fourth highest among all running backs. NBA, the Hornets targeting ex-Lakers GM Mitch Kupchak for a high-ranking role in Charlotte, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good day, kids. Fine Lawn Maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. It's where you go to listen live. We get the streaming free always. That's interesting. Somebody sent me a link during the break to a story regarding the Bucs and the money being saved in salary cap. So I was reading it, but it was on Twitter, and so then I clicked on it, and I noticed something on Twitter. It's I don't usually bring up things that are quote-unquote trending just because it's annoying. I hate that when hosts do that. When you hear hosts across the country, well, it's trending on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't adhere to that. Don't do that. But I'm going to do it.
But if you're the WWE, it's smart because it makes you seem bigger, and then you're letting those lemmings, do the work for you.
Do the work for you. But anyhow, there was a hashtag, and that's how I got this scar thing that was trending. And sometimes they are fun and fun-loving, like that. Like whatever, your born movie thing I once actually engaged in. Just because it's fun.
I couldn't believe that. I was stunned.
You had to have been.
What is this?
But it was fun because it was just a clip. It was a GIF of just a movie from the year you were born or an event or whatever it was. That's fun. That's kind of what you feel like that thing should be used for, right? To some degree.
Once upon a freaking time, yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of fun. Anyhow, so the point of that is this. The oddity of that, and that's how I got this scar, was my oldest son was asking me over yogurt the other day, frozen yogurt, Tom.
Of course.
In which I had the blueberry tart, and it was delicious with strawberries in the middle. I'm very careful as I construct my yogurt mansion. I have a lower level where I go, especially if I'm going fruit, I'll start with blueberry, then I get the tart, then I throw in strawberry, and then I put the plain tart on top because I got the blueberry at the bottom with the fruits in between. That's one way to build.
That's one way.
That's one way.
That's your way.
That's a way.
Okay.
I build many other ways if I decide to go chocolatey. If I'm going chocolatey, then we're going Reese's Peanut Butter Cups at the bottom. because that mixes nicely with the chocolate. Then I go a little coffee yogurt.
I see.
I go with a mocha.
We have been thoroughly educated.
Yeah, that's how that works. So anyhow, over said frozen yogurt, while we were talking, he said, how'd you get that scar on your shin, Dad, your left shin there? It's a pretty deep and ugly scar that has been there for many years. And I said, believe it or not, back in my day, this sounds like a great Cody segment, I, by the way, used to go to an Albertsons in St. Petersburg, Florida. That was this all-encompassing Albertsons that I sometimes bring up.
Yeah.
And it had a record. They had record section. They had pipe tobacco. That wasn't for me. That was my stepdad who smoked a pipe. But I love that section because I love the smell of pipe tobacco. And we would go there. And then there was candy right next to the tobacco, of course. Candy, tobacco, and Atari 2600 video games behind that. This section was a section of, it's certainly as touched by God.
Yeah.
Because you had video games,
crack
tobacco,
for adults and kids,
candy, and music in one section, and other electronics. In fact, you could get your Polaroid cameras there.
They probably sold candy cigarettes right in between the candy and the tobacco.
It was awesome. They were helping out the tobacco companies, and they were helping out Atari and music. It was beautiful. But anyhow, I slipped while reaching for Black Sabbath's double album, We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. I was intrigued by the cover, which I cannot describe on the air. And as a kid, I thought, what is that? And I reached to grab it, and it was protected by these metal things that jutted out at the bottom. And as I stretched too far, I slipped, and it ripped into my shin.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right.
Blood everywhere.
Now it's a party.
All because of Black Sabbath's We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll that I was trying to reach, that I was going to beg my stepdad to buy for me. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. I think I was like 10 years old. But because I ripped my shin to shreds and was in pain, he then bought me an Atari 2600 downhill skiing game.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, about
slalom?
like a slalom skiing game. It was wonderful.
In this day and age, you could have taken the photo of your ripped to shreds shin and tweeted it at Black Sabbath, and they would have given you some free stuff.
You think so?
I think so.
You think they would have helped me out
because
there?
you cared so much to get their product. You could have presented it as such.
Well, I was very excited about the record that I wanted to. Well, I was intrigued because it was ominous. It looked scary.
You brought up Cody. He was there today, obviously, on the Le Batard show. Did you hear the bit they did at the end of the 11 o'clock hour?
Is it when he's running, holding his pants up? Yeah, Le Batard. I didn't hear it. I just saw that he did it.
Yeah, the video of it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
And that was a bit that's so simple, but it delivered. And they cut back to him. He's jogging his way back to the Clevelander, to the studios, and it was almost like a bad action movie. I mean, he really pretty much bumped 2 or 3 people along the way for no reason.
Yeah, none.
I mean, he had a full 3 or 4 minutes before they had to get out for the top of the hour, so he would have made it back. But, I mean, they left the camera on the people. They're turning around all pissed off.
Very angry.
Yeah.
This fat man has just run past me.
And he's shouting into his phone.
Yeah. Oh.
What movie did you put for your...
I didn't use a movie. I used... what did I use? Soul Train.
Soul Train.
Yeah, it was the debut episode. I used that. It was awesome. And my man... with the perfect afro, and they were all dancing with it was an incredible outfit. Everybody there had the big collars, and it was fantastic. Yeah, that's what I used.
A couple for for the year I was born to make you feel old out there if you're in that part of the demo. Ferris Bueller's Day Off came out the year I was born,
which I always loved.
Crocodile Dundee came out.
It's a shame.
Back to School.
Good.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
All right. Top Gun.
Oh, no, man. I saw that in the theater, Tom.
Platoon. There you go. There's the
saw
heavy
that in
one.
the theater as well. And
you saw Platoon in the theater.
I did, and I snuck in with a friend of mine who later went to FSU Film School. And it should be noted, by the way, that that ended up being a stereotype. I went to the movie and sat in front of, unfortunately, a very disturbed veteran.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was it's like almost like a bit.
And you're not even an adult yet, so you get doubly, No.
No.
Wow.
I snuck in with my buddy who, like I said, went on to go to FSU's film school because we were underage. And went in, and we desperately wanted to see it. Loved the movie. But, yeah, I was sitting in front of a guy who had issues. It was a shame. It was sad. It was weird to see. It was hard to see. It was unfortunate.
It appears the last one of note that came out in '86 was Hoosiers.
incredible movie. I still love that movie. It's hokey as it is, but I still
Okay, you're on that side of the fence.
Oh,
Some
very
people
much so.
are hard line. That movie is wildly overrated.
No, I think
stance.
the further removed you get from the year that it came out, with the way that movies are made now and the way the stories are written now, it gets probably harder to watch. If you saw it when it came out, you loved it. I actually think Gene Hackman is very, very good in that film, by the way. I mean, just as the coach, he is really, really, really good.
Well, man, his early stuff is great. Everything
Gene
he
was
does
a great
is-
actor. He was, yeah.
But have you seen The French Connection?
Oh, of course.
Okay. I've tried to start it 3 different times.
Why have you not watched it?
Well, I've had to stop for different reasons, but it's very frustrating.
You got to lock in on something like
Yeah.
that. That's a don't disturb me.
Right.
We're watching. Yeah.
And the afternoon or morning or whatever it was going squirrely on me, and so I couldn't focus on it. But I've gotten to the part where it's right at the beginning where he's Santa in the alley yelling at the guy.
Yeah.
And then they go to the bar, and he realizes it's not to get a drink. It's because his partner's casing somebody. That's as far as I've gotten 3 times. It's really frustrating.
It's really good.
Is it? It gets good from there? I know it's an
Oh.
all-time classic, but
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
movies
yeah.
are overrated.
No, but one thing that's the hardest part about really well-made, ahead of their time movies for when they came out, and you see them 35 years after the fact, is that they are no longer ahead of their time when you sit down to watch them and you've been privy to the advancements of filmmaking and special effects and all of the things. Then it's hard. It's my problem with Star Wars. It's like, now I saw Star Wars when it came out, and I was blown away. As a little kid, we had never seen anything like it. But even still, even as somebody who did see it in the time that it came out, I struggle now with that first one. I can do okay with the others. That first one is especially poorly acted. Everything about it's pretty poor. And I loved it as a kid, but when I watch it now, I'm just like, good, sweet Jesus, this is ridiculous.
Man.
I cannot suspend disbelief.
The Rogue One that came out, which is awesome, you know, the bridge between the prequels and the first movies that were made, makes that movie so much better, though. It
Well,
does.
yeah.
It makes the plot much more interesting
Much
instead of this
more- yeah.
nebulous, like, well, I don't care about these people on Alderaan that got blown away.
Yeah.
What the hell do I care?
What do I care?
And I was like,
Right,
oh,
yeah.
that's your home planet? I didn't know that was your home planet. Who cares? But you see what everybody had to go through to get the plans to these poor rebels.
Yeah,
and now when it happens, like, oh, that's terrible.
That's terrible.
I never thought twice about those people before.
But if you hadn't seen that, and all those years later, you would have just been like, eh.
Well, yeah, it wasn't on it made the movie higher on my Star Wars hierarchy. People get in arguments over that, but it moved to episode 4 way up.
On the diamond, the Knowles are taking on USF as we speak. When it's time, Tom will cue the sounder, which is one of our all-time favorites, and it's good to be able to bring it back into the fold. Go ahead, sir. It's update time for that ass. When appropriate, you will hear that, and then the latest news from Dick Howser Stadium if you are like us, working on a day where you'd love to be at the ballpark, unable to watch the game. On that note, we're all holding our breath for the news, probably within the next 24 to 48 hours, about Tyler Holton, who we've only heard rather ominous quote, the MRI didn't look good. Second opinion, Dr. James Andrews. Oh, boy. That's not good. In the National Football League, a number of well-known names being told to have a good day as teams make room in the salary cap as we approach the draft. It's already, combines are right here upon us, which is exciting. Tampa Bay, a big part of that today, given the fact that Doug Martin and Chris Baker were released. That frees up an awful lot of room for Tampa Bay in the salary cap. But that's a lot of money that I think they're going to need to utilize in paying Mr. Evans and Mr. Winston after next year's season, although a free agent, okay, make a run. They're always dicey. It's a little bit like bringing in a JUCO. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you look at a JUCO and you get really lucky. You bring in a kid who just, for whatever reason, had a hard time in high school, couldn't get in, and they get it right in JUCO, but they can really play, and they come to your school and they produce. More often than not, it doesn't work out.
It did seem pretty apparent last year, though, that Calais Campbell was going to work. Whoever got
to the
him.
degree that it did, I don't think so. I think it was apparent it would have worked. There's no way Jacksonville could have thought they were going to get that from a sack production.
No, he would have got more money, but from where the Bucs were to where they needed to go, I mean, the aspired to be average mantra was in full effect for the pass rush. He could have gotten you there in a heartbeat.
Well, certainly in retrospect, given the year he had.
But give me Swaggy Baker instead and fortify this defensive interior that already had Clinton McDonald, who's pretty good too.
The other problem is if you're really good on defense at other positions, and the Bucs are really good at linebacker but nowhere else, then of course it makes Calais Campbell that much more productive, and Jacksonville's good a lot of other places.
Right, they can't double him,
yeah,
but still,
I'm saying,
the lanes it would open. I mean, it was there.
Would have been more helpful.
Yeah.
Well, hell, if you're doing that, if you're going to play that game, we can get all the way back to Michael Bennett, who inexplicably we just told to have a good day and got nothing for no reason whatsoever.
If he's available this offseason, would you still take a shot at him?
Probably not.
Too late?
Too late. I don't want him now. I mean, I guess if you get him dirt cheap, relatively speaking, I might make a move for that. I mean, the Bucs are so desperate, you got to maybe take a flyer on something here, but I just Bucs, good Lord.
That's what I tell my family members with the Mets. You know, it's like Adrian Gonzalez, he was great 5 years ago. We got him for $500,000.
Yeah, just
I'll take my chances that he might have one more. Yeah,
take your cuts, man.
Yeah,
Might
if he
have one good
sucks,
year.
$500K.
Whatever, right? Yeah. Doug Martin, and I asked the Bucs fans this. That's a swing and a miss, right? First round pick, barely. 2 good seasons, rest, nondescript or bad, period.
And he let you down as a teammate.
Well, he did. Now, I never got the final handle on that one. Was that drugs or performance-enhancing drugs?
It was allegedly the former. Allegedly former.
So, okay. Yeah, he let you down then.
And then he also showed up late for the Monday Night Football game this past year.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, because if you get popped for PEDs anymore, I'm like, well, certainly working to be the best you can be. I see. I can kind of live with that. If you're getting popped for things other than that, then no.
The rumor was it rhymes with jolly.
Oh,
it's the rumor.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Kentucky Avenue and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays 8 a.m. to noon. Online at ctf.nu.
Sports are defined by stats and performance, but here's a performance stat that no one wants to talk about. Erectile dysfunction affects half of all men over 40. That's 50%. If you're struggling with ED and other therapies haven't worked, isn't it time to feel like yourself again? Learn about a long-lasting ED solution from Coloplast to get you back in the game. Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4-DRDELAY. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Barry knows school, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows school, you can put him to the test.
Seasons change,
change, but your confidence in your home comfort system shouldn't. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, you'll be comfortable in your home all year long. This winter, take advantage of great rebates and 0% APR financing for 36 months. Learn more online at BaranoAC.com.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
Florida license number CAC 057652.
To grow my business, I've got a plan. Step 1, be smarter about how I spend my money. Step 2, go to my local Staples. Why? See Step 1.
Staples has lots of smart ways to save your business money. Now an HP laptop with an Intel Core i3 processor is just $389.99. That's $140 off.
Another smart move? Get there early. You don't want to miss out.
Staples. Shopping smart equals saving big. While supplies last. Valid on SKU 2721077. Ends 2/24/18.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and pick up 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $28.95. Plus, get a $10 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate and earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Might I suggest the chicken taco salad from Banditos Burritos, my friend?
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
You're locked in with The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Get ready to cue it up, Tom. First day, first time of the new season, we get to use this. It's update time for that ass. Drew Mendoza singles over at Hauser, and the Noles lead 1-0 over USF. Bases loaded, 1 out at last check. Could be a big inning.
Championship.
Undefeated season.
That was for you, Millar.
It's baseball. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. We will continue to hand it on over to the update machine whenever it is necessary. The NCAA announced today that Louisville's appeal of the NCAA rules violations, well, they've been denied. Penalties are the result of an NCAA investigation into, of course, former assistant coach and a member of the basketball team, Andre McGee, providing players and recruits with strippers and sex workers on campus, oftentimes at the famed Billy Minardi Hall. Famed on this show. The Louisville Basketball Dorm, as it's also known. Louisville, in their appeal, referred to the penalties as draconian. Well, of course they did. Of course they did. The NCAA said, no, we disagree. Quote, Louisville must vacate men's basketball records in which student-athletes competed while ineligible during the 2011, 2012 through 2014, 2015 academic years. Most significant and relevant piece of information, obviously, is that Louisville's 2013 national title is to be vacated along with their 2012 trip to the Final Four. In total, Louisville will have to vacate 123 wins. That includes 15 NCAA tournament wins from 2011 through 2015, the seasons in which the players retroactively been ineligible and played in games.
They're just going on vacation. They'll be back.
From here, we will officially remove the formal recognitions from our facilities, said the interim AD, but not from our minds. Throw in hearts. As long as you're reaching for the strings. The Cardinals were placed on the probation for 4 years, with the initial penalties handed down back in June of 2017. You'd think it was a Wednesday with my inability to speak. I cannot say this strongly enough. We believe the NCAA is simply wrong. Well, I like that, Greg Postel, the interim president. That's direct. We think you're wrong. So there.
I don't know what we can do about it.
That's just like your opinion, man. I think you're wrong. All right, duly noted.
Meanwhile, the NCAA has a fake gun in their hand and they're swaying their hips back and forth.
I'm staying. I'm finishing my coffee. I cannot say it enough. That adds to it, Greg. You might think that I'm just saying it. I can't say it enough. We think you're wrong. I love it. Pitino has repeatedly denied knowledge of the parties, the sex parties that took place there at the Billy Minotti Hall.
No knowledge. No knowledge. It's ridiculous. What an assertion.
Before the title was vacated, he was the only Division I head coach to lead two different programs to a national title. Of course, he won with Kentucky back in 1996. He was charged by the NCAA with failure to monitor an employee, one of the 4 Level 1 violations that the NCAA found in their initial investigation. Louisville contested the NCAA's finding that Pitino, quote, had violated NCAA head coach responsibility legislation. Plausible deniability is no longer a defense, by the way. The NCAA got hip to that one. They're like, no, that doesn't work, man.
I'm not my brother's keeper.
Yeah. By his own admission, quote, the head coach and his assistants did not interact with prospects from 10 p.m. until the following day, the NCAA said in their findings. The panel noted that the head coach essentially placed a peer of the student athletes in a position of authority over them and visiting prospects and assumed they would all behave appropriately, which I'm sure they did based on what was set up for them at Billy Minotti Hall.
This is an aggressive allegation. I disagree with you. And by the way, my book, The Tell-All, that is the NCAA, behind the scenes, corruption, and the victimized Rick Pitino era, foreword by my son, Richard Pitino, is available now at Amazon for $29.99.
He gets... He'll get his day to sell books on Good Morning America. Within what? Year and a half? Got to cash in quick.
My Life in Coaching. And it's going to be a picture of Rick with Richard on the front.
Well, it ought to be a picture of him with Billy Minotti, the famed Billy Minotti, who died at 9/11.
Well, maybe at the hall. Outside the hall, he's somber looking, but he's also wearing Lamar Jackson's skin-tight football jersey.
One of the most uncomfortable of jerseys ever worn by any man anywhere was the one that he wore there on game day and showcased those 4-inch arms.
But then he's got to ask the SID, who has to be a yes man when you're in that much power, that position of power, how do I look?
That was the worst, man. That was eeks.
Michael, what do you think? Huh? Does this look good?
Would Billy be proud? Well, he spins everything to 9/11.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Everything gets spun back.
I forget these things. Sometimes it even shocks me.
Yeah, everything goes back to the famed loved
How
one.
numb would a sports info director be at Louisville between Petrino and Pitino? They would have to be numb to anything that could be said, anything that's offensive. They'd just be like, yeah, well, I'll go get the coffee. I'll be right back.
That lends itself to another discussion that I will not engage in. We'll go to break on that. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Or RAP. This alternative payment program allows all residential and non-demand small business utility customers to carry over up to 25% of their utility bill in January and February to the following month's bill. To request this option, customers should call 891-4968 after they receive their bill. Try switching to natural gas. The City of Tallahassee offers rebates on natural gas appliances. To find out if natural gas is available in your area, visit talgov.com/YOU. Check out the City of Tallahassee's Ceiling Insulation Grant Program. The city may pay up to 80% of the installation's cost, up to $400. Having an energy-saving winter is easy with all of these great products and services. Call 891-4U. That's 891-4968 to learn more and be winter ready.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, this is Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. No one besides us wants to hear that you need a new roof. It's one of the biggest home improvements you have to make, and Parker Brothers Roofing understands. We now offer financing for 0% over 60 months. Yes, that's 5 years. Call us today for 5 years interest-free financing on that new roof. 656-8112. That's 656-8112, or go to parkerbrothersroofing.net.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. As most of you know, it's that time of year again. Tax refund time. What does that mean for all of us? It means that every single car dealer in town will be trying to shout the loudest for you to bring in your tax refund. Bring in your W-2s, and they will put you in a car, a used car that is nothing like what you really want. Well, guess what? Kraft Nissan's New For You program is an absolute game changer. We don't need your tax return. We don't need to see your W-2. And absolutely the best of all, we will not sell you an overpriced used car. And that is exactly why at Kraft Nissan, we call it the New For You program. We will plug your information into our system, which approves 4 out of 5 people with damage credit. And at the end of the day, you will drive away in a brand new Nissan, with or without a tax refund. You know the deal. Recently divorced? No problem. Recent bankruptcy? No problem. Credit score under 600? No problem. And it's not tied to taxes. Come see how easy it is for you to drive away in a new Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag in your car, you paid too much. Way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The NCAA has denied Louisville's appeal of penalties handed down in a sex scandal involving the men's basketball team, therefore upholding that the Cardinals must vacate their 2013 national championship and the 2012 Final Four appearance. ESPN's Jay Williams not surprised the appeal was denied, but he does take issue with the criteria of standards the NCAA has, and the governing body needs to make up its mind.
What is it going to be? And that's the appalling thing for me when it concerns the NCAA. North Carolina had their set of issues with as that regards to academic and their institution issues with the paper courses. You had Penn State and their sexual abuse things that their wins got vacated. 3 years after that, their wins got reinstated. So what is it going to be?
Jay Williams, Louisville still has to deal with the federal corruption scandal. NFL Buccaneers released running back Doug Martin. His $6.75 million cap hit for 2018 would have been the 4th highest among all running backs. NBA, the Hornets targeting ex-Lakers GM Mitch Kupchak for a high-ranking role in Charlotte, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Because you may be interested, Tom Lang, really good SL Price article came out today on John Gruden. For those that would be interested in general, it is as in-depth and thorough a piece on John Gruden as ever been written for Sports Illustrated. Really good. Kind of interesting. They talks about his return to Oakland, obviously, and the fact that he is back literally in his old office. And, how he is approaching the second go-around. So far, the relentless zeal that he always provided for his time in the NFL as an assistant or head coach is there. He goes into the memories he has with Al Davis, good and bad. How much he loves the fans in Oakland, which he always did, and said that over and over
Even
again.
when he was doing Monday night games, he'd walk over to the end zone, and they'd all embrace him and stuff.
Yeah. And then he tries to answer questions, and it's asked, somewhat rhetorically, and that is, will today's player relate to him in a way, because when you've been gone from the game this long, things change, and whether or not you're still relatable with the same fiery personality. He kind of governed his players in the NFL the way that a college coach does all those years ago with the threats and so forth, and I don't know that that's terribly commonplace anymore.
He was also, though, quick to do the arm around you and bring you, up thing. He wasn't just about breaking you down, but he'd be on the other side of it. Because sometimes I think, especially with the coach that, we just had here in Tallahassee, Jimbo's style wasn't always to uplift individual players. He'd uplift a team. But, short of Showtime cameras being around, you really wouldn't see or hear of any evidence where he'd say, do you know why I discipline you? Because I love you.
Because I love you, right. I do think, by the way, for a man who believes that if you're faking it, the football gods will find you and it will be revealed, he once said that, I believe that's accurate. I believe coaching at any level reveals that. And I've only done a little bit of coaching, but one of the things I loved about it was that if you go all in and care, and you are passionate, and that means you're going to yell at kids, and that also means you're going to put your arm around them and tell you love them. If you do it and you're true to yourself, and I think this is true of the coaches that I ever played for and liked, and anybody I've ever watched from afar have success in coaching, it doesn't really matter what your personality is. If you're stoic, if you're subdued, and you're calm in the presence of intense moments and the game's coming down to the nitty-gritty, and you remain that way, and you don't lose who you are in the moment, and or if you're passionate throwing things at halftime against the wall, either way, those stark contrasts for one another. As long as it's you, your players will buy in and do what you ask and react accordingly. If they detect for a second you're faking it in any way, or that you're attempting to do something out of character from your normal personality, you lose points with them, man. You do it too much, you lose them altogether. You got to be who you are. And I do believe Gruden has always been that, to your point, which is that he will scream at you. He will say to you any number of things the same way that Mickey Andrews did at times, where if you were to take it out of context of a practice field or a locker room, would to read abhorrent, right? You would read it and go, whoa, because the cold, hard word would not do it justice. But the fact is, people loved Mickey Andrews, and he said interesting things. And I think a lot of players, Derek Brooks being one of them, despite what the local media in Tampa would have you believe and attempted to try to create, would tell you they loved him too. I can speak on this, and only that I talked to Brad Johnson about him, and he said, could he be really difficult? I've had long conversations with Brad Johnson about John Gruden, who actively tried to look for somebody else at quarterback.
Yes, he did. Oh, my God, did he ever.
You would think Brad would have an axe to grind with a guy who basically tried to run him off around every turn despite putting up Pro Bowl numbers and winning a Super Bowl. But he didn't. He loved him. Loved him might be strong. He liked John. He did. He thought that if you were a quarterback and you listened, that John was a bit of a genius, that you would put up numbers and you would succeed if you just listened to what he had to say. So in that sense, the knowledge is the knowledge. There's no getting around his acumen for the game. Nobody would argue that. We all got to hear it on Monday Night Football for all these years. For those that weren't fans of Tampa Bay, you could hear the quick ability to assess, analyze, regurgitate, do whatever he had to do, right? He could process information very quickly. That doesn't get lost on a quarterback, especially because you're being tasked with that very same responsibility. So you like knowing that the guy in your corner is a bit of a football savant.
Well, as you're bringing up all this stuff about you got to be true to yourself and the players will know and they'll see through it one way or the other, it's hard not to think about Coach Taggart and all the reports out of Eugene prior to his leaving for Tallahassee that players wanted to be around him. Players wanted to be around the facilities. Players wanted to be on campus. It wasn't about, let's get through this week of, whatever it is, conditioning drills, and then Friday we're going to go have a good time. They wanted to be around each other and around him more because he had built a culture, and the only way you could do that is if you're genuine. The only way you could do that is if you're genuine, and that's something that needs big-time repairing here. But when I hear that, the first thing I think of is, to a man, every person who has dealt with Coach Taggart so far here in Tallahassee has said, this guy's genuine. This Florida State thing is not fake. Mm-hmm. This thing about his enthusiasm for letting players have fun is not fake. People they gravitate towards him. He may not be a car salesman. That may not be his persona on the microphone, but people want to be around this dude.
Yeah, I do think that's genuine. I think that's why he's always been able to recruit no matter where he's been. I think it's why he'll continue to recruit exceptionally well. Now it's just a matter of winning games, and obviously that we won't know that until the season begins. But, I've interviewed him twice now, and I've spoken to him off the record before those interviews, and I believe him to be genuine and to be straightforward and to be what he comes across as, which is a guy that is thoughtful, and I think there's no doubt he's going to be a player's coach because he's not too far removed from being a player. And so I think you're going to see that. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. I know it seems like, yesterday we were reading that they get underway, the chase begins, the whole thing.
Right.
And once again, when you read his quotes and you hear from him, it is obvious, and this goes all the way back to bowl practices, that one of the things that he finds most alarming about the situation here as it was left is that these guys became robots, that they were conditioned to and work in such a way that the emotion and fun of the game was sapped.
Shut down bowl practice. He even said later at a press conference that, man, I need the music myself. Yeah, I needed it watching this whole thing go on.
Well, and it's like come hell or high water, we're going to have fun playing this game again, guys. You are going to have fun. We're going to celebrate each other's successes. We're going to be together with each other's failures. We'll work through all this together being the optimal word here. This is going to work together, and I'll get you back on that page.
Well, that's why I think Gruden, will be able to work in Oakland/Las Vegas if he still has the ability and the stamina to do the job as needed. Now, he's got it now, but how many years has he been saving up for the first couple of months on the job? If he gets into year 2 or year 3 in Oakland/Las Vegas, does he still have the zeal to get up and the acumen and the ability to do everything? Because that guy burned hot for a 30-year-old when he was in the coaching ranks.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't wind back that clock. So how is he going to be able to manage it? But, I mean, in college, players, they relate to Les Miles. They relate to Dabo Swinney. And the pros, they relate to Andy Reid. And they related to John Gruden. I don't think that's going to change. I think the question is, does he still have the ability and the energy that he requires to be himself?
Well, okay, so it's an exile of 9 years from the game. And one, I don't think, would ever suggest that the passion waned because, my God, he kept a playbook. And he would remind us of the fact that he was writing down new plays that he saw on Monday Night Football in his playbook. It was ridiculous. It was actually very sad at
I have
times.
nobody to give my playbook to, but I keep a meticulous playbook.
He kept a playbook and was actively adding to said playbook sitting in his office or living room. It was bizarre, but he did that. So the passion didn't wane. The article says many things, one of which is that, it's Super Bowl Sunday in one part of the article, and Gruden had been in his office since before sunrise breaking down film. I think it's going to be there. I hate to overstate this, but one of the things that we find so endearing but also very sad about John Gruden, I just think that is his life. I don't think there's anything else. I don't. Not that now he has kids and he's been married, same woman for all this time. Like They have obviously something worked out within their relationship, and I'm not there, so I don't know. But to me, from the outside looking in, listening to him, reading comments, the way he worked, there may not be anything more important in his life than football.
Right. Here's my beautiful wife, my 3 kids. Here's
my
Charlie.
playbook.
No, here's Charlie. Now, Charlie is the star of the Gruden family. He's my projector.
Yeah.
And his ability to rewind and fast forward is the best thing. Guys, please leave the room. I'm going to turn on the projector. Hey, please turn the lights off before you go.
I believe it.
Let's take a look at my projector.
I believe it. The only downside to the article are a lot of really goofy pictures as taken for Sports Illustrated in which he's making menacing faces and yelling.
Oh.
Those staged photos that you see where a guy's, I'm looking at film, but I'm making a crazy face. Don't do that. But it is done here. Other than that, the piece itself is absolutely fascinating. You'll like it. Others will like it. And it is an interesting storyline as we lead up to the NFL. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Who doesn't love Entenmann's? The rich frosted are my favorites.
Entenmann's is celebrating their 120th birthday in a big way with their I Sing on the Cake sweepstakes. Go to Entenmann's120birthday.com to enter for a chance to win some really great prizes.
Sing happy birthday to Entenmann's using the hashtags Entenmann's120 and hashtag promotion. You get a second entry for the prizes.
Happy birthday to Entenmann's.
Is all your insurance protection under one roof? Make the right choice. Williams Insurance Agency is locally owned and operated, serving Tallahassee and surrounding communities for over 34 years. With access to more than 28 national and Florida-based insurance carriers, they have an independent advantage. Multiple lines of personal, commercial, and life insurance all under one roof. If you don't know insurance, know your agent. Williams Insurance Agency, 2901 East Park Avenue, Suite 2200. Call them today at 877-8555 or visit online at williamsinsurancinc.com.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shop's work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
Seasons change, but your confidence in your home comfort system shouldn't. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, you'll be comfortable in your home all year long. This winter, take advantage of great rebates and 0% APR financing for 36 months. Learn more online at BaranoAC.com.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
Florida license number CAC 057652.
And now Jeff and Eddie waste my time instead of recording a commercial.
And then you decided to sell it, and I always thought you should keep it.
You know, I wanted to keep it.
It was
but I
perfect. It was perfect. Why wouldn't you keep that?
It wasn't the right color.
It was perfect. I
don't
tell
know.
everybody to this day, you should have seen the other one. You should have seen the other one. It was incredible. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
To grow my business, I've got a plan. Step 1, be smarter about how I spend my money. Step 2, go to my local Staples. Why? See Step 1.
Staples has lots of smart ways to save your business money. Now an HP laptop with an Intel Core i3 processor is just $389.99. That's $140 off.
Another smart move? Get there early. You don't want to miss out.
Staples. Shopping smart equals saving big. While supplies last. Valid on SKU 2721077. Ends 2/24/18.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and pick up 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $28.95. Plus, get a $10 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate and earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio. I've not been checking. Do we have an update time for that ass? Perhaps not.
It's update time for that ass. It's 1-1 in the third inning.
1-1. We did get an update. It went the wrong way. I don't think we're supposed to play it when USF ties it up on a Chatfield single, by the way. And it's Chatfield coming through for the Bulls.
Saw a funny update from Wayne McGahee, who's out there for the Tallahassee Democrat. Apparently, a runner was trying to take second, and Cal Raleigh hit Andrew Karp on the throw to second.
Ouch.
Get out of the way, son.
Ouch.
Get out of the way.
We're going to have to move.
Yeah.
It's not what you do. Never pitched. Never pitched once in my life in years of playing Little League Baseball or anything like that. But it would always be a fear, right? Would you have been able to stand in there for the comebacker? That's not a comebacker, but it's akin to one. And I always thought, I don't know, man, that follow through after you have to let it go and fully release, bring that leg over.
Yeah, I could have stood in there for a comebacker. It's standing in the box that became a problem for me.
And wearing it because of
batter's box,
a wayward eye.
Well, not a wayward. It's just
it was a little wayward
failing.
back then, you said, right? You a little wayward?
No, just a failing eye. It was just.
It wasn't off kilter?
No, it wasn't off kilter.
I thought it was off kilter.
That I'm aware of. Now I have to go back and check my photos.
I'm going to
have to go check my family photos.
I'm not saying it was either. I just thought at one time you told me that there was a little waywardness to it, and I thought, man, it's a good thing for glasses because your eyes are fine.
I think it would have gone astray.
It would have gone looking.
But we got to therapy
would have gone
around
the way
first
of calling,
grade.
hey, it would have been out there minute work style.
No, but the problem is that that's awesome. You got me so good there. The problem is when you're, 2070 or 2000, I don't even know. It's just this massive number, and that's your eye that's telling you what the ball
and
is coming out of the hand
see
of the
the
pitcher.
ball until it hits your ribs.
We have a problem.
Ribs.
We have a problem, sir.
That hurts.
Yeah.
And you wearing it one too many times when you're young, man, kids become afraid of a baseball with the quickness. And it's funny because I remember getting hit with a baseball awfully hard. I've told the story before, early in playing baseball and being afraid of the baseball for like the next year. And I'm so weary of it with my kids now because here's the deal. I think the best way to tell a kid about why it is you just need to hang in there and it'll get better and all this, somewhere along the way you just have to tell them it's part of the game and that part of the game sucks and it hurts. And I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to get hit with a baseball and it is going to hurt. Just like playing third base, somebody's going to hit a shot at you and you're going to have to get down, put the glove to the ground as you're supposed to do, and come up to meet it if it takes a bad hop. And it's going to happen one day. You don't get there in time. And you are going to wear that baseball and it's going to suck and it may hit your cheek. But it's part of the game, and it's a great game, and you got to just buck up and hope that the damage is not too severe.
I had no problem tracking an infield grounder or a line shot or something to the outfield, and I had no problem and no fear if somebody's winding up for a slap shot and I'm right in front of it.
Yeah.
Like, I am on a direct line between the net and the guy. There's no fear there. But in the batter's box, there is fear. It's just
because you wore it.
I did,
and it hurts.
I told you I haven't got hit in a hitting cage at Celebration Station. I'm in the batter's box.
Impossible.
No, I'm in the batter's box and it hits me.
And you thought, well, this is it. This game sucks. I'm never
my dad.
playing this. What
I'll
in
never
the world
forget.
is
My
this?
dad. He goes, "You got to be kidding me."
I mean, your poor dad must have sighed and just been like, "My poor boy. He's just wearing baseballs left and right."
But I could end up with 15 bruises, and it's a lot in hockey. You get slashes to the shins and the forearms and stuff
all
like
the stuff,
that.
collateral. Yeah,
no problem. No, it wasn't a matter of the pain; it was a matter of the fear.
Well, I'm just telling you. I mean, I wore hits in football and boxed some and everything else. I've never getting hit with a baseball freaking hurts, man. It just does. Somebody throwing a baseball hard off your hands or your elbow or, God forbid, your head, it hurts. Period.
Right. Well, just stand in the batter's box and close your eyes, because that's what I was doing. and then tell me you're comfortable in that situation.
Final hour forthcoming. Stay with us. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Professionals at Advance Auto Parts. So the next time you need help finding the right tools or parts for your car, stop by. We'll be ready to help. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back on the road.
And now Jeff and Eddie wasting time when they're supposed to be recording a commercial.
What do you think about this team this weekend?
Crazy, huh? Really fast.
And they're good. Where do they come from?
Never thought about it.
Oh,
Never
my
thought
goodness.
about it.
But then that one guy does that thing.
I had two people call about it. It's ridiculous.
It's the talk of the town.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
As utility customers continue to use more energy to offset the recent cold weather, the City of Tallahassee offers you a few tips to help you save energy, water, and money. Sign up today for a free energy audit. After the audit, they'll provide recommendations for energy and water-saving improvements, and it's all free. Take advantage of the Winter Relief Assistance Program, or WRAP. This alternative payment program allows all residential and non-demand small business utility customers to carry over up to 25% of their utility bill in January and February to the following month's bill. To request this option, customers should call 891-4968 after they receive their bill. Try switching to natural gas. The City of Tallahassee offers rebates on natural gas appliances. To find out if natural gas is available in your area, visit talgov.com/YOU. Check out the City of Tallahassee's Ceiling Insulation Grant Program. The city may pay up to 80% of the installation's cost, up to $400. Having an energy-saving winter is easy with all of these great products and services. Call 891-4U. That's 891-4968 to learn more and be winter ready.
Looking for a pre-owned vehicle to help prepare you for the future? All Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected by a Honda trained technician and backed by an outstanding Honda limited warranty for up to 7 years or 100,000 miles from the original in-service date. You could say we pre-screen each one, as a precaution. Visit HondaCertified.com and search for local inventory.
See your Honda dealer for limited warranty details.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The NCAA has denied Louisville's appeal of penalties handed down in a sex scandal involving the men's basketball team, therefore upholding that the Cardinals must vacate their 2013 national championship and the 2012 Final Four appearance. ESPN's Jay Williams not surprised the appeal was denied, but he does take issue with the criteria of standards the NCAA has, and the governing body needs to make up its mind.
What is it going to be? And that's the appalling thing for me when it concerns the NCAA. North Carolina had their set of issues as that regards to academic and their institution issues with the paper courses. You had Penn State and their sexual abuse things that their wins got vacated. 3 years after that, their wins got reinstated. So what is it going to be?
Jay Williams, Louisville still has to deal with the federal corruption scandal. NFL Buccaneers released running back Doug Martin. His $6.75 million cap hit for 2018 would have been the fourth highest among all running backs. NBA, the Hornets targeting ex-Lakers GM Mitch Kupchak for a high-ranking role in Charlotte, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it, and a fine Lawn Maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's always, if you are to miss something, go back, get caught up. All 3 hours posted every day upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email the show if you like, jcs@979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for mobile devices. We're on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee there. Find us. You can also find us on that there Twitter vehicle I just mentioned. If you're following at 979 ESPN Radio, you'll see that the show is periscoped. Florida State doesn't play basketball this week. They are playing baseball, tied at 1 right now over at Dick Howser Stadium, taking on USF. Said that there's rain over there? What?
Yeah, I guess a little sun shower on a Tuesday afternoon.
Well, it's a lot nicer than being in a studio, and I love my job, but hey, baseball is being played. I should note this. I brought up the quadrant system yesterday, Tom. Remember I was breaking down the quadrant system yesterday for NCAA basketball, our quadrant 1 wins and all of that? So quadrant 1 home, 1 through 30. Remember that? That's the RPI, 130. Neutral, 1 through 50. If you're at a neutral side, 1 through 75. We're 5-4 in quadrant 1 games. Can you name them all?
5
I
and
bet
4
you can. You were 5-4 in quadrant 1 games, which is a nice record. Again, those would be games. And for folks that are saying, what the hell are they talking about? It's important. We're getting closer and closer to the bubble and all that other stuff. Florida State's not on the bubble right now. They're in safely, I think, the NCAA tournament as we speak. But it's a new system this year where not all wins are graded out the same way. It's not strictly just wins over top 50 RPI or whatever that might mean. There are levels to these wins, quadrants, if you will. And so if you have a win at home against a team that's top 30 in the RPI, it's a quadrant 1 win. But if you have a win on a neutral side floor and it's against anybody in the top 50 of the RPI, not just the top 30, the top 50, that too is a quadrant 1 win. If you go on the road where wins are harder to come by, it expands even further. It's the RPI 1 through the top 75. Those are all quadrant 1 games. Those are all, if you get it, quadrant 1 wins. Now, there are quadrant 2. It's 31 through 75, neutral 52 to 100, away 76 to 135, and on down the line. I won't sit there and continue on that path, but I will give you a list of where we sit. And the NCAA selection committee will be – I shouldn't say the NCAA selection committee. It's not the football.
No, but it's kind of the same. Well, they were the selection committee before the selection committee, right?
It is kind of the same thing, certainly. But Florida State's 5-4 in quadrant 1 games. You want it, obviously a good record in that category. Go.
Oh, that's correct. First of all, it's NCAA selection committee because it's the college football playoff selection committee for football.
I had it right to begin with. All right, damn it.
All right, so I got to get all 9 of those? Is that what you're looking for?
It's a bit much, but
all right.
But again, away 1 through 75 RPI, neutral 1 through 50, home 1 through 30.
Okay.
We're 5-4.
Okay, so your wins are over Florida, right?
Yes.
Okay, your wins.
Check.
North Carolina.
Check.
Clemson.
Check.
Miami?
No.
Okay, Louisville on the road.
Okay, so Louisville on the road is correct. Yes,
okay.
Check.
So I'm missing a quadrant 1 win.
You are.
Oh, boy.
It is a road victory.
It's a road victory for Florida State.
A road victory. Quadrant 1.
Quadrant 1.
Away being
Virginia Tech.
Dang, he got it. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. Losses are Miami.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Miami, Duke. Virginia at home. And Louisville at home.
No.
Is that right? No?
No.
Okay.
It is Notre Dame at Notre Dame. They're 68th.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
They are 68th. That was a good road win for Miami, by the way. They beat Notre Dame, and in doing so, ended a 3-game losing streak. They were on the cusp of becoming an interesting situation, and for Notre Dame, that may have been the death knell. We'll see. We have upcoming road games at NC State. That's an RPI 61. That is a quadrant 1 game.
Yep.
And we have a road game at Clemson, which is number 10 in the RPI, another quadrant 1 game. So you have 2 more chances. Even if you go 1-1 there, you'll find yourself at 6-5 on the year in quadrant 1 games. 6 quadrant 1 wins is a lot. When you go back and look at some of the other teams around the nation that have strong schedules, you'd be impressed by that.
So one thing I was doing this morning, and this is what you get with the bye week, I was looking at the numbers, the standings in the ACC, obviously bracketology, Joey brackets and all that stuff, and where we could be slotted to face, depending upon where we go, in a 7-10 game, an 8-9 game paired with 1 seed or a 2 seed.
Yeah.
But this NC State game is really, really important if you want to finish, because I had set this mark. I wanted us to finish in the top 5 in the ACC.
You really have been hell-bent on that this year. Well,
but to be able to say you finished top 5 back-to-back years, and that's including the losses of your 3 top scorers and 2 NBA players and 1 international pro.
But hold on, I want to get to this. I want to delve into this for half a second. I think it's interesting that you've been greedy on that front. You've wanted Florida State not just to make the tournament. For me, the bar to me, making the tournament was everything, is everything, getting back for this year, getting back to the tournament. I find it interesting that you were, I'm with you on that, Jeff, but we could finish top 5, and you never put down that baton. Hey, we could finish top 5.
Once we proved in the early conference slate again this year, it wasn't the same thing as last year where we just went like crazy against 6 ranked opponents in a row.
Beat that ass.
Yes, we did. But once I saw that we could compete, and then we had a couple of landmark wins along the way, and at the time North Carolina was really struggling, which now they've gone crazy since then.
It's a good win.
Real
good win.
Top 5 looked like it was something that was possible, which is crazy considering last year with, the talent we had, we finished second in the conference, tied for second in the conference. To be able to lose those guys and finish in the top 5, be it with a tie, I don't care. That's incredible. What an accomplishment that would be.
It's incredible that they did what they did a year ago at a place like Florida State. I know that rubs people the wrong way, but it is.
But if you look at the teams around Florida State and what their schedule is like, Louisville, Virginia Tech are a couple. NC State's right there as well. Clemson's too far ahead. They need to lose 3 out of 4, and one of them would have to beat us.
Yeah.
So they'd have to lose
swept
2 other games, and I don't know that they're there to be had unless there were some surprises. Miami's there.
Maybe they're crestfallen. Perhaps they're forlorn, downtrodden at the fact that they've lost 2 straight.
If you beat NC State, point blank, if you beat NC State and do what you're supposed to do with Boston College, the Clemson game can be a loss, and you're going to finish in the top 5. You're going to be tied with either NC State or Miami or both. I mean, awesome. But you got to go get one of these 2 road wins and finish 10-8 in conference play.
I'm going to volunteer that we go get that NC State. I'm going to posit that we go get that NC State game, right? That's the one.
Well, then, moreover, if you get that game, then you're probably looking at a 7 seed, as long as you don't fall on your face in the ACC tournament and lose to a bad team and go 1 and out.
I mean, you could.
But the 7 seeds right now are Creighton, Missouri, Butler, and Alabama. Those are all teams that Florida State could absolutely reach or surpass by the time we get to Selection Sunday.
Yeah, the whole thing is getting to the dance this year where there is no dominant team. Florida State's flawed. Florida State could lose in the first round very easily. Florida State could find themselves in the Sweet 16 with the right matchups. It's crazy. It's just the tournament this year. I love the tournament every year. I do. Even in the years where I was down on college basketball, I still love the tournament. It is an institution. We love it. And that first weekend of games, that first week, it is something to behold, and you want to be a part of that. I always feel so angry when that tournament starts for all the love I have for it, and my love of sports. I can go all the way back to my earliest memories. The NCAA tournament is amongst those, and when we're not part of it, it really does eat at me in a way that other sports don't often do. Like when we have a bad year in football, I'm not happy about it. And in an individual game, if we lose to somebody we're not supposed to, it might piss me off more than any singular basketball game. But not being a part of the NCAA, of the playoff, college football's playoff, that doesn't eat at me. I'd like to be there, but it doesn't eat at me. When we're not in the dance, you feel like, good God.
Yeah. What did we do? Where did we go
how
astray?
The hell? You can't even. That tournament is so expansive. You can be really average and make the dance.
Well, and short of losing all of your games remaining, or winning the remaining of your regular season games,
don't even throw that out there like that, man.
Or winning the remaining regular season games and going on a decent run in the ACC tournament, you're looking like you're going to fall between 7 and 10, in the seed lines, and those teams are Creighton, Louisville, Missouri, Providence, Arizona State, Seton Hall, Florida State, St. Mary's, Alabama, Virginia Tech, Butler, Arkansas, Miami, TCU, Nevada, and Houston. Those are all teams. I mean, we could easily go to win our first game out of the NCAA tournament. And those are the pool of teams that you are going to be competing with for seeding, maybe a seeding closer to home, Charlotte or Nashville. Those types of things. Those are all conversations that are on the horizon should you not lose your final 3 regular season games. It's nice.
It's really nice.
That's what I do. I'm a nerd in a week like this week. I go look at the schedule, I look at the standings, and I look at the brackets. And I compare where we could be, what cities we could go to, what travel budget we may have available to us for these things. All of those things are considerations.
I like where your head's at, buddy. By the way, FSU, USF, knotted at 1 apiece. Just saying.
Oh, I thought you could say until, and then I'm going to hit up.
Well, we have a situation.
Oh, I see.
We have a situation developing, and I know I'm kind of just gauging time here. I want to make sure we. By the way, one thing to mention before we ever get to that break is, and this is important. So I give you all those quadrant 1 wins, and I give you the here's what we've done in those games and why they're important, and they are. I still should note that also on the list is the fact that in quadrant 4 games, you need to win all of those games because those are home games against the bottom of the RPI, 160 to 351. Those are neutral site games against sorry teams, 201 to 351. And those are away games against really bad teams, 241 to 351, right? Florida State is undefeated. So, there are no – when we were harping on the fact that one of the things that when you're struggling is, all right, how much margin of error did you give yourself? Well, if you had dropped the game against Georgia Tech, if you had dropped the game, we won that game 88-77, if you recall. If we had lost to George Washington, won that game by 20. If we had lost to Pitt the other night, Colorado State, whom we won and beat in Jamaica comfortably, Southern Miss, whose ass we stomped 98-45, Fordham, Charleston Southern, that was a 10-point game, Kennesaw State, Citadel, who we dropped 113 points on, or Loyola, Maryland. That would have been devastating. You actually, if you had lost one of those games,
yes,
you would have real work to be done.
You'd be on the bubble with the record that you have currently in ACC play because your out-of-conference strength of schedule is in the 300s. It's terrible. That's the only reason we're not a top 20 RPI team right now. If you look at what we've done in conference, on the road, neutral site, top 50 RPI, 51 to 100 RPI, all of these things are really, really strong for us. But our non-conference schedule was awful. It's in the 300s.
Yeah, and normally it's not. I mean, it's hard for me to fault them because, look, Rutgers, what happened to Rutgers? That team looked like a team that was going to make noise. They got an early season big win after we beat them. That was a 78-73 game. They had athletes. You saw that team and you thought, they're 209th in the RPI. Oklahoma State traditionally is a good program.
They've got a couple of big wins. Oklahoma, Kansas, I think, too.
Yeah, well, they have a couple of huge wins.
Yeah.
Problem is Oklahoma is sinking like a stone. They lost again last night, got blown the hell out. We're never in that basketball game. This was something I was talking about. Well, I hate to keep referencing it on the national show, but I was talking about we had a guy on from NBC Sports who does a really good job, and he covers college basketball exclusively, and he was saying that Oklahoma's safely in. I said, well, hold on. They're 2 games under 500 in the Big 12. I understand they're out of conference is one of the best in the country, and they have significant wins, but how many games under 500 can you be in your conference and still be comfortably in?
Yeah.
I mean,
the RPI still loves them because of top 25 wins that they've had. They have 5 top 25
wins.
They
keep losing games. They lose every damn week.
That's 6 in a row.
They lose all the time now. They're 3 games under 500 in the Big 12. Now, look, the Big 12's good, but I'm sorry. At some point, you're not getting a pass for all those great early season wins when you've lost 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row and you're 4 and 5 games under 500 in the conference.
There's something to it, though. I mean, and you know it, the selection system is flawed. And if you look at Florida, right, and for example, in bracketology, they're a 6th seed right now. They're comfortably ahead of us. We've beaten them. They have 10 losses on the season.
We beat them on the road and beat their ass soundly.
Right, and they're not exactly playing great basketball right now. They were the NCAA selection committee had them as one of the top 4 seeds when they were doing the 16.
Yeah, it's because they have some early season wins over very good basketball
Non-conference scheduling can make an early impression that it's hard to shake, for good or for bad.
They used to call it the straw that stirs the drink because one of the smaller teams from a mid-major would go early in the year before teams are fully developed and get a big win over a team that went on to be a power in a Power 5, right? So somebody would go on the road and beat Duke from a tiny conference early in the season, or another such team that went on to have a great year, and then the teams that played that team in the little conference would get this huge bump if they beat them or just by playing them.
What's crazy, though, is just back to FSU for a minute. I'm just looking again at the standings. I'm such a nerd for this thing. It's the holdover from the newspaper days and looking at box scores and standings and just staring at them and saying, well, what about the schedule? What if they do this, that, or the other? But if you beat NC State, you're staring at an over 500 ACC season. The year after, you lose your big 3.
You've picked up the theme here, my friend. Beat that drum. I've been beating it all year long. You cannot overstate what a big deal it is if this team finishes over 500 in the ACC and goes again to the NCAA tournament. I get it. You want more than just making it, than just crossing the finish line. You want a good time. You want whatever you want. But realistically, given all that was lost, you're talking about 2 NBA players and a pretty prolific scorer for what he was. X was selfish and annoying and frustrating.
But he turned into a really good distributor by the end of his time here.
He also turned into a guy that when things were going awry for everybody else on the floor could get you a freaking bucket when you had to have it.
We don't win that Duke game last year at home without X. There's no way.
There were several moments. Yeah. No, I'm never going to deny that X didn't have his moments here where he actually carried this team and you needed a guy to get a bucket. There's nobody on this team that can do that. Every time I watch us at the end of games trying to find a way to win a game, I get really frustrated knowing what we had out there a year ago, where you would have had 3 different guys to go to when you needed a bucket. You got 0 now. And that's not necessarily a knock. I'm saying they overcome all of that, which is why we're championing this whole thing about, hey, man.
Kofor's like, the hell with you. Look at my second halves the last couple of games.
I love you, Phil, but I don't trust that he's going to be able to create off the bounce consistently when you have to have a basket. And, you know, he's had a nice year, and it would be great to get him back. I'd be blown
for his
away.
9th season.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness gracious. I don't know how much further up the leg he could wear those shorts by next year, but
so this is how BYU has it. I see.
Give me your update time for that ass. I will.
Well, sorry.
You weren't ready.
Ran out of time.
I caught you. Well, no, you can find it. You make it happen. It's update time for that ass. No real update. 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Me? USF Strands 2. We're tied at 1. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Milwaukee selection in the area. Big store pricing with local service. 1110 Stuckey Avenue and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays 8 a.m. to noon. Online at ctf.nu.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Did you know that propane-powered clothes dryers outperform electric models in energy efficiency, drying time, and garment protection? So dry your clothes more efficiently with propane. Propane water heaters give you more hot water at a more affordable price. Compared to electric, energy-efficient propane water heaters can reduce your energy costs significantly. For more information, call AmeriGas Propane here in Tallahassee at 877-1122. Sports are defined by stats and performance, but here's a performance stat that no one wants to talk about. Erectile dysfunction affects half of all men over 40. That's 50%. If you're struggling with ED and other therapies haven't worked, isn't it time to feel like yourself again? Learn about a long-lasting ED solution from Coloplast to get you back in the game. Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4DRDELAY. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay.
Hi, guys. I'm Johnny Weir.
And I'm Tara Lipinski. Entenmann's is celebrating their 120th birthday.
120 years.
Who doesn't love Entenmann's? The rich frosted are my favorites.
Entenmann's is celebrating their 120th birthday in a big way with their I Sing on the Cake sweepstakes. Go to Entenmann's120birthday.com to enter for a chance to win some really great prizes.
Sing happy birthday to Entenmann's using the hashtags Entenmann's120 and hashtag promotion. You get a second entry for the prizes.
Happy birthday to Entenmann's.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. As mentioned earlier in the program, the Bucs say goodbye to Doug Martin today, and that's a good move and one that was easily seen, right? You could kind of project that rather easily, I would think. In the move, of course, Tampa Bay saving $6,750,000 for 1 year. Over the course of 3 years, it's $20,750,000, which is kind of unimaginable, right? There was no way you were ever going to continue to pay to that end for Doug Martin. But it's not about Doug Martin. It's about the upcoming draft, and it's about the NFL, and it's about running backs. And I love this topic all the time because it has changed so much in my lifetime. Doug Martin, by the way, if you're just looking at average salary per year, and you look at, you can go to websites like Over the Cap and places like that, you see where Doug Martin was in the top 5 in terms of paid running backs. You know, Leonard Fournette is behind him, Lamar Miller, Ezekiel Elliott is behind him, of course, still on his rookie deal. And my question to you, Tom, just because we love banting this about, twofold. No chance, right, that you're on the side. We haven't talked about this. No way in hell that either one of us wants Saquon Barkley at 7.
Not at 7. No chance in hell.
No chance in hell because he's a running back. And, you know, as we've seen, whether it's you're looking at your boy in Kansas City or New Orleans, wherever you want to look, you can get guys late.
If he is by far the best player available at 7, like it's just you have a doomsday 1 through 6 go for the Bucs, trade the pick. Don't take him.
Trade down. Trade
the pick.
Well, and here's why, because I think, honestly, one of the things that you'd really like to do is vastly improve your offensive line. And to me, if you can't get Chubb on defensive end, and by the way, this is not a good year for defensive ends. It's a terrible year, in fact. So if you can't get him, and you really desperately want to go offensive line, the best candidates right now are guards. Do you feel good about drafting a guard 7th? I mean, I guess it's not ideal. I would never want to take a guard in the top 10.
If it's the kid out of Notre Dame, that kid can play.
There's no doubt. Actually, it's a deep draft for guards. That's why I would trade down and just grab a couple. But the thing of it is, too, I don't anymore with running backs, man. Let's do this. Should the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are going to tag Le'Veon Bell and piss him off, which they shouldn't be worried about. He's got his only leverage. Teams know that. That's just the way that works. I don't think he sits out the season, even though that's what he's going to tell you he's doing. Listen, I'm not paying $12 million a year for a running back. I'm just not. Not with. Listen, the average cost, I looked it up today, for top flight running backs is $9 million per. He's going to get $12 million per if he gets what he wants. And he's more versatile than almost any back in the league. He is a dual threat, catches the ball out of the backfield better than almost any other back in the league, is an elite difference maker. But I'm not paying him $12 million. I'm just not. He's a running back. Listen, when I saw what the Saints got and what the Chiefs got relative to where they drafted, you just don't need to do that anymore.
Well, I'd give him 12 if I have every other need addressed and it's a 1-year deal because it's a franchise tag. Like, I'd do that in that circumstance.
1 year. Yeah, I'm not giving him what he wants, though. He wants a multi-year deal at 12 per. No. I'm saying there's no way. Of course I'd do it for 1 year if I'm set everywhere else.
Yeah, if it's a franchise tag situation, then absolutely. Go with it. No, because you know what you have there. But, I mean, if you look, and this is, non-scientific, it's the CBS Sports NFL draft prospect rankings, and it's the running back position. Mm-hmm. Saquon Barkley is the consensus best back coming into this draft. After that, it's Darius Geis out of LSU, Ronald Jones out of USC, Royce Freeman from Oregon, then you go to Sony Michel and Nick Chubb. And if you go by where they are ranked in a big board type of setting, those are all top 50 players. that probably means that they're going to go between, the number 1 if Cleveland is really going to be that reckless and go with Saquon at number 1. And about 70, 75, okay? So if Chubb or Sony Michel, and the latter is for me, is available in round 2, I'd say if you get a pass rusher in round 1 and you want to take a shot, not that big of a deal. But certainly not in the top 10 do you want to go attack running back. Or in the first round of the draft in general, want to go after a running back.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing for running backs anymore because they become a dime a dozen. Every time an Alvin Kamara goes into the 3rd round and gets selected by the Saints and does what he does, and he's 22 years old, and you're not paying top-flight dollar for him, and you're getting that kind of production, or you see a Kareem Hunt go in the 3rd round, and you're not paying top dollar for him, you get that kind of production. Then there's the guy with wear and tear, with mileage on the tires, right? And now he's wanting to get paid because he's been able to show and prove how good he is. But through no fault of his own, we're now well into his career. I'm not doing that.
Or if you could take a flyer on a Mark Walton, if you could see that he's healthy enough at the combine, and because he's the Miami back that got hurt when they played up here this past year. I mean, if I could get him in the 3rd or the 4th round, it's worth a shot. That's absolutely worth a shot at that point. But you and I are usually in agreement on this. Now, last year, I thought Dalvin was worth taking where the Bucs were in the middle of the 1st round because I've never seen anything like Dalvin with my own eyes. So it was an exception to the rule because I know what that guy can bring to the table should health be constant, and it wasn't for him in his first year. But the draft fell to the Bucs in a way that, all right, if you're going to take O.J. Howard, I can't be mad at you.
It made sense to take O.J. Howard. Yeah.
It made a ton of sense to take him. In this circumstance, given where the Bucs are drafting, and given the layout of the backs for this year, I'm not even sure that Saquon Barkley is going to be an all-pro player. I'm not. The way I was with Dalvin, I'm not sure with Saquon.
I like Saquon Barkley. I think he's a real good running back. He's just a running back is the problem. And I'm just never in favor, really, of going all in on a running back when you have more pressing needs. I mean, almost any other pressing need I'm going to take over a running back. That's just me. My philosophy being that you have been shown time and again that you can find high-quality, Pro Bowl level running backs in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th rounds of the NFL draft. It's been done over and over and over again. Now, is it easy to identify those? No, but teams do it all the time. Kareem Hunt, I just mentioned him. Again, you see it year in and year out. Because that's true and because that position is so brutal, well, by the way, Devonta Freeman, I mean, look where he went. So, again, you see this kind of talent constantly stream from the college ranks to the NFL and translate very well. Since that's the case, unless you're telling me I'm identifying a transcendent running back, the caliber of AD or somebody like that, then I can't go that route. And we saw guys like Trent Richardson, who we thought were can't miss, not make it. It's just the wear and tear. When it ends, and it's quick.
It does, but also I think if you're in a unique circumstance, and chances are you're not drafting in the top 10 in this situation, but running back is the last piece. If you have everything built, and I think that's one of the reasons that last year when the Bucs were drafting, I'm sure we could check the tape. So, I mean, it's on demand on iTunes and ESPNTallahassee.com. But, the thought was, my thought was that the Bucs are set in so many different places. Offensively, you need one more piece. Now, the offensive line turned out to be worse than we anticipated it being, but it seemed like the offense was a dynamic player in the backfield away from being a top 10, even maybe top 5 offense. That's what we were thinking at the time. It didn't play out that way. There's no doubt it didn't play out that way. So for me, it's pass rusher, and if you can't get one at 7, either trade down or take another offensive lineman.
I'm going to stockpile them anymore. I'm going to stockpile them if I have to. I'm worrying about running back really, really late. You give me the list of available. Well, first of all, the Bucs now have, I think, the 3rd most money under the cap in the league after today's cut. So you now have money to play with.
But you have Evans and Winston on the
horizon.
soon.
On the horizon, without question. You could free up some of that to go and ensure, if you could find a way, to get one of the top-tier linemen that are available in free agency. Most teams are smart enough not to let those guys go. Carolina's not going to let their guard go. There's a lot of guys. They're just not going to do that.
Usually they have to trade to go get somebody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to find quality, high-end offensive linemen who are consistent in free agency. So you may not be able to do that. And therefore, you got to build through the draft. And it's a deep draft for linemen. It's not a deep draft for defensive end. I don't think it's a very deep draft for running back. These are other positions of need. So I'm stockpiling, man.
The one exception to what I'm saying about pass rusher and offensive line, I would give a long, hard look at Minkah Fitzpatrick. I would. Man.
At 7?
Well, but you'd have a greater plan at play if you're Jason Light to go get another, guy in free agency, or you have somebody that you've graded as a mid-first rounder that you think you can get at 40 or wherever the Bucs are going to be picking in the second round, because that dude is a shutdown player. And if you look at the corner situation in Tampa, I mean, even if you bring back Brent Grimes, how many years can he give you?
He's old, and he's not elite to begin with. He's he's a good corner, a serviceable corner.
Yeah, you like what you have maybe at slot corner for Tampa. Evans at safety looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like that pick. That was nice.
But Minkah could really round out that group, and then you just attack edge rushing. If, again, Chubb is off the board in the second round, and then you go do what you got to do in free agency to at least get some semblance of an average pass rush. If you get an average pass rush.
Well, your defense changes. Go 2 years ago where we're all on Mike Smith, right? Mike Smith this, Mike Smith that. I think he's the victim of personnel problems. You have a corner that lost confidence, another one who's decent but not great. You have no pass rush. In the NFL, you're dead. You're dead. You're fine in the interior. You're great at linebacker. But the same guy that everybody wants fired is the guy that 2 years ago we hailed as the franchise saver beyond Jameis on offense. I mean, that defense down the stretch allowed the Bucs to go to 9-7, and he didn't get dumb. They can't get to a passer, and on third down, you're dead. And in a league, especially where the rules are set for receivers and quarterbacks to have big numbers. So whatever you do to get a rush in, whatever you have to do to stockpile talent getting after the passer, I'm with you on that. I go all in on that. If at 7 I can't get my guy, and there's such a dearth of defensive ends in this year's draft, of quality ones anyhow, I'm trading down. I'm stockpiling picks.
If it cost you a second rounder to trade up to go get Chubb, would you do it?
Are you sure Chubb is an elite defensive end in the NFL?
I'm sure he's the best one.
He's the best available in this draft.
Get this draft.
I agree.
Beyond that, I don't know.
So the answer's no. So the answer's no. You're not going to do that then.
I know
I have to know that he's one of these guys that have been tagged cannot miss.
I think he's got the temperament, but he doesn't have the Myles Garrett can't miss aura about him. And Garrett, make no mistake, was hurt this year for a good portion of the season.
Well, and Jadeveon Clowney before him, when you go back and you go, that guy, despite what everybody was doing with their stupid mocks, we knew, when he's healthy, he's just good, period. Yeah. He's going to be productive. Chubb does not say that to me. He's a nice player. He's not crazy explosive off the edge.
Arden Key would have been number one in the position group.
He's fallen now.
Let's vet these concerns and see if we can get him at 40.
Right. Well, I'm not taking him high, though, is my point. So I get him in the second round? Sure. I'm not this is a terrible draft for defensive ends. Just terrible compared to some years where you have 5 and 6 guys. You're like, ooh. It's loaded.
Could draft Derwin James and put 20 pounds on him.
I'm just going to go all in on offensive line. I'm going to go all in on offensive line, man. I don't even think I want Minkah Fitzpatrick there. If he's 7, well,
do you think you're getting a bust? I mean, I don't think you're getting a bust.
No, Minkah's not a bust. I think Minkah's going to be a good player in the league, period. I think he's going to be a very good player. So, yes, I wouldn't fret. If we're sitting there at the draft party like we always do, and we're vetting the board as it's happening, and we're going, well, this year will be a little quicker than it was last year, so we're going to have a better idea pretty early on. And all we're going to be doing as Bucs fans is crossing our fingers that Chubb is there, because if he's there at 7, you take him. I'm still not guaranteed. Even if we take him, I'm not saying I know for sure he's a star, but you can't overlook him. But if you don't see him on the board, if he goes anywhere else earlier, man, I am really considering, can I get anybody else to trade with me? And then I'm going offensive line. And I'm going to stick with it. But back to my original point was the Bucs saving all of that money with him, Doug Martin. And I asked you about it at the start of the show, and I was thinking about this more, and we had people email and tweet and all that other stuff. If you think about this, it's hard to imagine Doug Martin finishes his time in Tampa Bay. Now, remember, he was drafted in the first round, 2012. So our assessments of successful draft picks are very different sometimes. Or, for that matter, in recruiting, right? It's very different. I think if you bring in a kid and he's a 5-star kid and he starts 3 years for you, Like he's a starter for 3 years.
Yeah.
And he's a viable starter. Then you didn't whiff.
It's got to be viable, though. He can't be, you know.
No, he can't
we've
be
had a lot of
part-time.
starters in the last decade, but, you know.
Well, that's a whole different deal. Then you have no talent. I'm saying you bring in a 5-star guy and he starts 3 full seasons for you. He's not a bust. Even if he never develops into a star, he's just not a bust. You got it right, you know, because it's hard to find good enough players to start at places like Florida State and compete at a high level, as long as we're competing at a high level, unlike the last decade, right? In the NFL, I think if you're drafted number 1 overall, that guy needs to be a star. I got you. If you take Jameis Winston number 1, he needs to emerge here soon as a definitive top 10, top 12, worst case scenario quarterback in the NFL. I think we already have all the signs that he is and will be for a long time to come. So you don't want to miss there. But if you draft a receiver at 8 and he starts for you for 8 years, but he's not, he's not Randy Moss. He's just a good starting NFL wide receiver. You did good.
Well, okay, that's right around the area the Bucs picked Evans. That's a successful pick.
Oh, big time. He's
some.
exceeded. Don't you think he's exceeded?
Yes.
Okay, so he's exceeded expectations. I look back on Doug Martin, and I would say that was not a success. And yet, I'm arguing with the other me, because the other me said, well, now, wait a minute. His rookie year, without question, is a huge success. He finishes his career. Now, this is more of a damnation of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer franchise than anything else. But he finishes 4th all-time in Tampa Bay Buccaneer history. 4th leading rusher all-time. That's embarrassing.
Yes, it is.
Warwick Dunn's the all-time leader. And then it's Allstott and James Wilder.
Allstott second. Allstott.
Well,
listen,
and
Mike's a good player.
Listen, and we like Warwick Dunn, love Warwick Dunn.
Yes.
Warwick Dunn.
Yeah, I know.
He was never.
He was productive.
He was productive. He was just never the
best.
He
was ahead of his time. He is so much more suited for the all-purpose back role of today.
Chris Thompson.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I agree. It's just when you look at the Bucs all-time list, it saddened me today that I saw that I was just looking up numbers with Doug Martin, and I looked up and went, "You're the 4th leading rusher in Bucs history." No.
With 2 big seasons.
2. That's all he had. He had 2 really good seasons, and a 1,000-yard season is no longer what it used to be. So even that is diminished to some degree. And then when he wasn't good, which are those 2 seasons that he wasn't available. It wasn't just that he wasn't good. He was bad or not available in the years that he was bad. And that kind of offset what I would normally say about a starter, right? So I ended up saying that ended up being a kind of a swing and a miss.
Doug to me was kind of like he's somebody who left and came back. It's almost like you signed him like a Mike James or a Bobby Rainey plus. You know what I mean? Like you pick these guys up over the years. No, but I mean they come and they give you a couple 100-yard games. You go, oh, that guy can kind of play.
He's all right. Yeah, he's okay.
After his rookie season, that's what he became. The problem was last year he was psychologically damaged. Those first handful of games that he played, he had the physical ability. We saw it in the preseason before the suspension kicked in. He had all of the ability to get what he needed done. But the offensive line was so bad that even when things got a little bit better on the O-line, he was seeing ghosts. So it was a really complex issue this year. I thought he had it in him to have a big season, but just never happened.
I actually think it's a complex issue trying to decide whether or not that was a bust, or not a bust. A bust is the wrong term. Whether or not that was a swing and a miss or a successful pick, because here's why. Where he was selected.
Late first, right?
31st pick.
Yeah.
So he's barely a first round.
That was the Mark Barron draft.
Yeah, yes, it was. So he's barely a first-round pick. It's not like he went 10th or 5th. Very different when you look at a first-round grade, right? If a guy's going...
No, it's not a successful pick. It's not consistent enough.
No, I agree. All right. Sad to see it go. But it was the right move, and I was been okay with it. It happened sooner. Come back, wrap it up. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Austin Lynch and Chase Bryant. Tickets are on sale now. Online at TuckerCivicCenter.com. Brad Paisley. Tickets are on sale now.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history. February 20th, 1998. 15-year-old Tara Lipinski wins the gold medal in women's figure skating at the Olympic Winter Games in Nagano, Japan, becoming the youngest gold medalist in her sport. Lipinski and her teammate Michelle Kwan were both considered favorites for the gold that year. Kwan ended up taking home the silver.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Superlube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Superlube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The NCAA has denied Louisville's appeal of penalties handed down in a sex scandal involving the men's basketball team, therefore upholding that the Cardinals must vacate their 2013 national championship and the 2012 Final Four appearance. ESPN's Jay Williams not surprised the appeal was denied, but he does take issue with the criteria of standards the NCAA has, and the governing body needs to make up its mind.
What is it going to be? And that's the appalling thing for me when it concerns the NCAA. North Carolina had their set of issues with, as that regards to academic and their institution issues with the paper courses. You had Penn State and their sexual abuse things that their wins got vacated. 3 years after that, their wins got reinstated. So what is it going to be?
Jay Williams, Louisville still has to deal with the federal corruption scandal. NFL Buccaneers released running back Doug Martin. His $6.75 million cap hit for 2018 would have been the fourth highest among all running backs. NBA, the Hornets targeting ex-Lakers GM Mitch Kupchak for a high-ranking role in Charlotte, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
We're talking football. Brian Cushing is finally no more in Houston. Now, normally, if I say that and it's linked to Brian Cushing, you'd say, oh, is he dead? With the amount of steroids that guy's been on and the amount of times he's been suspended for the PED use and the amount of concussions he's had.
Romanowski Jr.
How about my man's artificial career? I mean, it is through and through. Go all the way back to those early days at Southern Cal and look at those pictures from man boobs to a Greek god like that.
Man, I remember posting those photos.
Stunning.
On the old 1270 blog.
Yeah. Like, well, quite an off-season workout
Yeah.
for that young man.
Yeah.
But, yes, over the weekend, that move did occur. Houston Chronicle reported he's gone. He's one of the guys that I would tell you that when we watch somebody play football and they go all in to play football, whether that's love of the game or the money that comes with or both, but ignore obvious problems for their future self, watch what happens to Brian Cushing. I hope nothing. I'm not rooting for that. I'd hate to see it happen. I'm just not going to be surprised in the slightest if that guy ends up with mush for brains, unable to speak, problematic, one of these sympathetic stories trotted out there in his early 40s. It'll be him. It'll be him. Playing through concussions, this was all before protocol. You'd see that guy look completely concussed, stumbling around the field after a play, come back out in the third quarter.
Man, there was a clip of him from a couple of years ago when they had Hard Knocks with the Texans, and he was in training camp.
He was fighting everybody.
Well, he's fighting everybody, but there's another one. It's not to do with concussions, but he's just vomiting on the practice field because they're doing conditioning drills, and he's trying to talk his way through. He's like, hey, I'll be okay. It's all right. It's fine. Like 3 or 4 times. It was quite disturbing.
But this is odd because, first of all, he plays linebacker, and I want my linebackers crazy. Crazy in love with football, crazy in love with the pain, crazy in love with inflicting said pain, all of it, right? That's what I want on my linebackers. So in a weird way, again, when we're just talking about football and gladiatorial nature of it all, I'm always like, well, I mean, so long as he can beat the test, I want that guy. Because he just has no regard for anything else. It's football all the time. And he plays with reckless abandon. He's good when he's all hopped up on goofballs and he's out there for the 7 games a year he plays. He's making a difference. He's a plus player and then some when he's out there. I can guarantee he's going to get hurt. I can guarantee he's going to have a weird issue at some point where his behavior is just a little off, maybe even criminal. Don't know. Got to just wait and see. Got to have a issue where he suffers a concussion and then wants to come back sooner than he's allowed. He'll fight the doctors on this. I'm going to have to deal with that. I'm probably going to get a call from his wife at some point that he threw a painting or something at the house. But when he's starting those 7 to 9 games, man, we're making plays.
Well, didn't you always say that you wanted some crazy out of your linebacker?
Always.
So there you go.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He would be the guy. Now, I wouldn't want to be his friend. I'm sure he's bat blank. You know what, man? I wouldn't want to deal with that. But
see, it seems like he and Incognito would get along.
Which may be an unfair thing, right? Because I don't know that he's ever said anything like overtly racist the way Incognito has, and he's never been
just
menacing.
Like kind of a bro. He's,
he's more
well, they did the feature again.
Yeah.
They did the feature on him in Hard Knocks, and you have time to prepare for that. It's not like they walk into your house and you have to act, differently. But he presented as a guy who seems to be a pretty good family person and a dad, but he's also just simultaneously the bro from college at the same time. He never lost the broness.
I think you're right. The broness is always going to be with him. By the way, on a day and a night where Louisville is stripped of their 2013 crown for whatever that's worth in college basketball, and Rick Pitino can weep over Billy Minotti Hall. We do have college basketball tonight, and Baylor, who, by the way, I mentioned the other day, has won 5 straight games and is making a push as a bubble team, taking on Huggy Bear's West Virginia squad. Let's see what kind of mood he's in tonight. 7 o'clock viewing for those of you that aren't going to be watching the Lightning play hockey tonight against Washington. Oh, by the way, my question to you as we sign off is that a game that Tampa Bay is going to win? Because I'm reaching that place where I'm beginning to get slightly concerned.
This is, there's going to be a move between now and next week for the trading deadline. There has to be.
And for those that don't know, Tom will be hosting a Tampa Bay Lightning podcast weekly on JoeBucksFan.com, so you'll want to listen to that. So occasionally on this show, towards the end of the shows, I'll sprinkle in some, hey, T. Lizzie, lay some hockey knowledge on us.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it starts this week. Friday mornings, it'll be posting JoeBucksFan.com. I think it might get picked up somewhere else, not the station or anything like that. Nobody cares to run the 30-minute format of hockey here. But to me, what they're doing is they're experimenting again. I saw the practice pairings for defensemen, and it's their best 2, Hedman, Strawman, playing together.
Right.
And I don't get that other than they have to be vetting how bad the problem is. I say that. I added to the fact that Washington got blown out over the weekend. I don't know how tonight's going to go. I would stay away from it if I was Big Daddy J.
Big Daddy J is inquiring for selfish reasons beyond fandom. I will say that. And, of course, Washington did just knock off Pittsburgh on Monday.
I think you've got a problem here where this team is they're going through the fatigue of uncertainty at the deadline. You know, Tampa's not trying to trade pieces out of the major dressing room, out of the NHL dressing room.
Correct.
But still, that doesn't mean that everybody's immune. I mean, Tyler Johnson could be on the trading block. A younger kid like Matthew Pecker or Adam Ernie could be on the trading block. So I think that room is not in a healthy place, and they're also struggling on top of it. That's why they might come out and play great hockey tonight.
Well, because they're a real good hockey team.
I think they're distracted, though, is my point.
And I also know that this is the wear and tear of a very long season, one in which the Lightning have been in first place all year long. You're going to have the strains at some point hit you in the midst of all that success, whether that's riding out injury, whether that's mental fatigue, whether we're getting to that point where trades are about to happen, whatever it might be, a stretch where you're playing some tough games. Lengthy road.
Well, I mean, the road schedule's been BS. But, yeah, defensively they're not playing well. The penalty kill's not doing that great. The goaltending has been above average, but that's below what it should be at this point. And I think they're just exhausted. So there's just a lot of things going against them. I think by the time we get to about March 15th, they're going to be ratcheted back up and playing some really, really good hockey. I just wonder if that's good enough to win the division because Boston can take over control of the division with the game in hand that they have.
Interestingly enough, the Tampa Bay Lightning, aforementioned, will be taking on the Boston Bruins on St. Patrick's Day next month in Tampa Bay. That ought to be a lively crowd.
Yeah, I believe 3 matchups left with Boston, so a chance for the division to be in the balance in those games.
You have 2 pretty quick ones. You have the one on St. Patrick's Day, and then they play again. I think it's 2 weeks later, maybe a little less than 2 weeks later, so you have back-to-back matchups. For those of you who are in line with Big Daddy J's thinking would take the Caps tonight, getting a goal and a half. Washington 4-2-2, I think, over their last 8. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Caps tonight, getting the goal and a half. Right?
Washington could mail it in too. They're weird like that. I'm pretty excited actually. Next week I'll get to see Caps and Maple Leafs in the outdoor game in Annapolis.
Yeah, you lucky dog. That's cool.
But they'll play hard that night. I know that much.
Yeah, they will.
But they could get their butts whipped, or they could come out and look like the best team in hockey. That fan base must be the most frustrated in the NHL over the last 5 years.
The over-under is 6. Big Daddy's starting to feel more interest in this game at every moment. I think I'm going to bet the money line and the Caps getting a goal and a half.
Okay, yeah. If I had to guess one, I'd say over for that because I think there's some sloppiness coming tonight.
Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy your evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Be well.